Welcome back to high school football on Comcast. Today, for the 86th time, the high schools from Pittsburgh and Antioch do battle in the Big Little game. Dan Wall and Clay Callum. Clay, great to have you with us today. We started this 14 years ago.
Absolutely. It's great to be back. Great to be back here. I used to live about 3 blocks away.
And Antioch, it's nice that they threw him out. But good to have him in Walnut Creek now, folks. Clay, we're going to start with the bands from Antioch and Pittsburgh High School. They're great bands. This is always a highlight in the pregame ceremony.
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite moments, especially when the drum majors face off. Just a classic moment in high school sports. One of the reasons I really love high school sports.
So we'll take a look at the bands, and then we'll be back to preview today's game. A great job by both bands, Clay, as always. And now we take a look at the teams. Pittsburgh was 8-0 coming into last week's big game against De La Salle. Things did not work out for Vic Galley the way he had planned, but they're still one of the best teams around, and Derek Blanche is a great runner, a record-setting runner for Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. Blanche is a speed guy. A lot of people think of Ken Simonton when they talk about Blanche. Another guy to remember, Pittsburgh fans remember a kid named David Curry. He can just fly. He gets in the open field, he's gone.
Now, Pittsburgh has outscored their opponents 390-99 this year, and Antioch's going to have to come up with a big effort to win today's game. They're 1-8 on the season. Things are not working out for Ferris Anthony, and unfortunately, this is Coach Anthony's last game. We'll talk about that during the game. But he does have a real good running back in Jesslyn Robinson.
Yes, Jesslyn Robinson, another speed guy. Got a lot of speed. The field's a little bit muddy, though. They're going to have to get outside if they're going to be able to turn on the Jets. Unfortunately, what Antioch really needs to do is to pound the ball, run the clock, keep Pittsburgh from getting its hands on the ball. Otherwise, Pittsburgh could score a lot of points.
So on a personal note, Ferris Anthony, goodbye. 9 great years here at Antioch High School. We'll be back with the Big Little game next on Comcast.
Take advantage today with rates at record lows. Charter Funding Incorporated of Antioch is your local mortgage broker whose commitment is service with integrity. Charter Funding Incorporated works with many lenders to find the best program to fit your needs. First-time home buyers, 100% financing, no down payment, and interest only. No one is left out. Whether it's a rate reduction, cash out, new purchase, good or bad credit, let the professionals at Charter Funding Incorporated handle all your loan details. Call us today at 776-1700.
Hi, I'm Rocco Bialy, and this is my family.
I'm Dante.
I'm Dominic. And I'm Nina.
For the past 5 years, Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria has been the proud sponsor of the Comcast High School Game of the Week. As a neighborhood restaurant, being part of our community has been very important to my family and staff. I'd like to personally invite you to become part of our family. Great pizza, great pasta, and great people. Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria, a part of your community.
Tonight's Comcast Game of the Week is made possible by a generous donation from Battalia's Italian Restaurant, Deli and Catering. Delicious pasta, meatballs, Parmesan dishes, and more. Specialty sandwiches like roasted eggplant, cucciadatis, and other traditional cookies. And don't forget the cannolis. Family owned and operated, that's Battalia's, Antioch's oldest Italian restaurant at 3100 Contra Loma Boulevard in the Save Mart Shopping Center. S&S Import Service on 10th Street, specializing in your foreign car. State-of-the-art tools and equipment with friendly and helpful service. Let Randy and Mike take care of your auto repair needs. S&S will also take your used oil, caring for our community. S&S Import Service at 806 West 10th Street in Antioch. Golf and Games Family Fun Center of Antioch. Under new ownership, Golf and Games has it all. A miniature golf course with many challenging holes, hard and softball batting cages with several speeds, a giant arcade with all the newest games, go-karts, pool tables, snack bar, and prize station for those big ticket winners. The perfect place for birthday parties and events. That's Golf and Games Family Fun Center at 501 Summersville Road in Antioch. RSC Rental Service Corporation in Martinez. RSC offers a wide variety of equipment specific to the petrochemical industry, as well as to the general contractor and homeowner. We deliver straight to the site and have a fully trained staff of mechanics and office personnel to fit every need. That's Rental Service Corporation, 4030 Pacheco Boulevard in Martinez. Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh, featuring 14 screens of movie magic. All theaters have Lucasfilm THX digital sound systems and stadium-style seating. The prize wheel spins weekly with great prizes. The Prize Patrol promotional events and other activities happen monthly with great giveaways and prizes. Check out the Brendan Theater website for more information and great savings ideas. Your favorite films in a great environment. All at the Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh. Enjoy the movie. Mellows Heating, Air Conditioning, and Sheet Metal, serving the greater East County and beyond. Residential, commercial, and industrial, keeping the East Bay comfortable for over 28 years. Let their helpful, courteous sales staff help you with all your air and heating needs. That's Mellows, 1241 Main Street in Oakley. Thanks again to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Rob from Central Tune-Up. Check this out. Oil filter crusher. Did you know that every drained used oil filter that comes off your car still contains up to a cup of used oil? That used oil can destroy our environment and water supply. Do the right thing and place your used oil filter in a clear Ziploc bag and place it on the curb with the rest of the recyclable items. If your city does not have curbside used oil recycling, take it to your nearest certified used oil and filter recycling center. Call ahead for hours and the amount accepted. What more, if all the oil filters that were sold yearly in the United States were recycled, you would have enough steel to build 16 pro sports stadiums. Be good to the earth. Recycle your used oil and filters for a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
Great Mexican food, home of the famous margarita, and fun and food in a festive environment. That's Celia's of Antioch. For over 30 years, Celia's has served specialties like fajita supreme, camarones a la ranchera, and other great Mexican food that has brought people from around the area to eat. Every Thursday night is live music from Trio and Saturday night mariachis. That's Celia's of Antioch for great Mexican food.
What is a coach? A teacher, a motivator, a leader, the person who sees your athletic potential and maximizes it, regardless of the sport. At Velocity Sports Performance, you train with a highly qualified coach every time you train. Your coach makes you work hard, but your coach makes you a better athlete. Train with a coach who knows. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Thanks, Dan. Coming to you from Eels Field. You know, the field's real muddy right now. And, you know, I got a chance to talk to both coaches before the game, starting with the Pirates. Coach Galley says, he quotes, "Don't turn over the ball. The field is muddy." So that is key to the game to winning today. They're coming from a devastating loss to De La Salle last week, and they're fired up, they're angry, they're ready to take on the Panthers. Now, for the Panthers, Coach Anthony says this might be his last year, and the team is pulling together for the coach. But his keys to winning the game is stopping Derek Blanche. They need to gang tackle him and stop him. Dan and Clay, this is the big little game. It's exciting. I'm happy to be here. Back upstairs to you.
And you know, Clay, I've never seen anyone get such great use out of a suit for both a game and then a wedding that Joey is attending later tonight.
Hey,
Joey Acuna on the sideline.
They're looking a lot sharper than you and me, I've got to say.
And that's not really a difficult thing
No,
to do. So Dan Wall, Clay Callum, back. We did this 14 years ago live, and we're still doing it. It's amazing. Dave Jackson on stats. His grandson Robert doing something over there today. Matt Bolander, Morgan Kuhn, our great crew out here today from Antioch High School in what is going to be known as Mud Bowl 2. I think we did this a couple of years ago, Clay, and it's very, very muddy in the middle of the field, which I would think would favor Antioch.
I would think so too, and that's why I figure Ferris Anthony was out here last night with a hose about 2 a.m. because I mean, they're telling me it rained Thursday night a lot out here. Okay, I believe that. It's 2 days later.
Well, I was going to say,
the sun's been shining.
It looked like it rained about 10 o'clock this morning.
And that was Ferris Anthony. But no, you know, well, we talked earlier, Maury Wills. Now, this is a very interesting situation here. You can see the teams are all out at midfield, head-to-head. There have been occasions where this kind of pregame coin flip has led to a little extracurricular activity.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier about a game here in 1974. Yeah, and the refs are separating the two teams where the telling statistic there wasn't just the Antioch 20-0 victory and the fact that Pittsburgh gained negative yardage in that game, but it was the number of Pittsburgh cheerleaders handcuffed to the railings on the opposite side of the field that told you the tale of that night, which was an absolute total riot. There's Coach Anthony. Now, not only a coach, but he's a good friend of mine. I've known him for over 30 years, and today is his last game, and today we'll kind of have a little tribute to Ferris. He's not only a very good football coach, but he's a better person. In my book, that's even better. He's a nice guy, and we'll see him in wrestling. We're going to do wrestling this year from Antioch, and that'll be fun. There's even talk that Clay might even come and do color for a wrestling match between his wife, Maggie, and my wife.
Really? No, we don't even want to go. Don't go there, Dan. That's danger territory, babe.
We're going to send it down to the field for the coin flip.
Mr. Gisletta will be the umpire with me. Mr. Piccolotti will be over on the Pittsburgh side. I'm in the middle. Okay, here we go. Yes, I'm doing portion is a heads. Double eagle is a tails. Okay, who's going to call it? You are. So drop and do it again. Here we go. Heads. What do you call? Heads. Heads. It is a heads. Oh, you want the ball? You want the ball? Which way do you want to kick? Okay, put your backs here. You guys put your backs here. This is going to be fun. Well, we can score. This is cute. And we'll receive. Okay, gentlemen, come back in. Let's go. Keep the mouth closed.
So Pittsburgh wins the toss, and Clay, you heard the referee today, Dan Leary, say, keep the mouths closed.
And that is wishful thinking on Dan's part. Dan's been around. He's a veteran. We got a veteran crew out there with Tony Gisletta, Bert Michalczyk, Mark Piccolotti, as you saw. Jay Buffo, I think, is out there, too. So I think that's going to help because this is going to be a highly emotional game, if nothing else. Obviously, Antioch can make their season, if not their decade, if they win here.
You know what this reminds me of? I brought this up. It reminds me of the Big Little game, the last game Joe Cap coached. Remember, Cal was horrible. I think they'd only won one game.
Not the big game.
Yes. And Stanford was going to a bowl, and Cal beat Stanford in that game. Joe Cap's last game as the Golden Bears head coach could be the same kind of thing here. Although Antioch would have to play a perfect game and basically keep Pittsburgh between the hash marks running the ball. We're in that mud bowl out there.
Keep them in the mud. Now, you're looking for a trick play. This might be the very first time. Onside kick to start the game. Stranger things have happened.
Especially with that kind of mud out there, especially right around the middle of the field. For Antioch, number 20, Anthony Jeff Wall will kick, and back deep for Pittsburgh, number 6, Dominic DeCibio, and number 10, Tyree Moffitt. The Pirates in their Halloweenish orange and black. Coach Vic Galley told me I'm not wearing white pants on this field. They're too hard to launder. Antioch in all black, and here's the kickoff, and it's deep, and it's Moffitt, and there's a penalty flag.
Got an offside early. That's the only way they're going to blow the whistle on that if Antioch jumps offside. Not a good sign. They're a little too pumped up. That's one thing actually they can't afford to be. You can't get too high emotionally for a game like this. You coach in a rival game, you play in a rivalry game, you're going to be pumped. The hardest thing to do in these kinds of games is stay calm. I mean, you know, maybe you're playing Ignacio Valley in the middle of October and you need to fire yourself up. No, don't need to fire up for this one.
Dan Leary, Tony Gisletta, Bert Michalczyk, Mark Piccolotti, and Jay Buffo are our officials here today from Antioch. The Panthers 1-8, their only win way back in a non-league game. They beat East Union of Manteca. Now that is not exactly something to put on the mantel case.
Hey, if it's your only win, it is.
Pittsburgh's only loss last week, 35-14 to De La Salle. Here's the kick, and this time it's into the pond and taken by Moffitt at the 23-yard line.
He's gone.
He has big room. Moffitt tripped up and still on his feet and knocked out of bounds near us, near midfield. You're going to hear a lot of that today, Clay. Near somewhere and around somewhere. Dave Jackson, 30 yards on the return. Here's the Pittsburgh offense. Crowley, the quarterback. Derek Blanche, and for the first time this year, Antoine Pierre in the backfield. Derek Davis and Willie Brown, along with Tino Feliz, a great trio of receivers. Molecue, Mills, Fafidi, Pfeiffer, and Lemley, a tremendous offensive line for Coach Vic Galley. And, of course, Hurtado, you'll see him, one of the better kickers Pittsburgh's had in recent years.
And kicking might not be critical in a game like this, but if Pittsburgh expects to beat De La Salle and win the 4A championship, they're going to need good kicking.
Marked at the 47-yard line. 2 wide receivers, far side. And the handoff is to Pierre, and Pierre is tackled for a short gain, perhaps a yard. Jeff Wall was there to make the tackle. Here's the Antioch defense. Hall, Villasenor, Seaman, and Marquez across the front line. Snap and Simmons, 2 of the linebackers, along with Sean Harper. Falk and Lee are the, they actually run a 4-4, Clay, with Falk as the 4th linebacker. Lee and Robinson in the backfield with Brian Lewis. So Antioch, that's kind of interesting, a 4-4-3. That means that they're only going to have one helping safety against Derek Davis and Willie Brown. That could be interesting.
Well, they're already moving a linebacker out to double, so they have 3 defensive backs really on that side of the field.
2nd and 9, Blanche right up the middle, first down and more. Blanche makes a cut. Blanche is at the 25, inside the 20, and tackled at the 16-yard line by number 8 of Antioch, Clarence Lee. First down, and you saw not only speed, but shiftiness even in this muddy field.
You could see here, too, that he manages to make his big cut right there. The ground's pretty good there. It's only really where the water is standing that it's really terrible. Also, the running back has the advantage of knowing where he's going, and that's a big difference. If you're a defensive player and you're trying to keep up with somebody like Blanche, he makes a fake. You got to go for it, because if you slip, you'll never catch him.
Gain of 33, first down. Blanche already has set the single-season career rushing mark for the Pirates this season. Blanche goes in motion. Handoff Pierre, and Pierre makes a cut outside, and Pierre is in. Touchdown. Pierre's 2nd carry as a Pirate this season, and he scores from 16 yards out. And Clay, a minute 29 in, it's 6-0 Pittsburgh.
This is not what Ferris Anthony had in mind. This is an example of what a speed team could do, and also a precision team. You watch Pittsburgh. Vic Galley spent a lot of time at De La Salle. You can see how quick they are off the ball, and that's always been a mark of the De La Salle teams. They're quick off the ball. They explode into the hole, and they've got the athletes, the speed to take advantage of those seams in the defense.
Hurtado to attempt the extra point. This could be a dicey proposition, as they're actually going to move him over. Now, I guess, is this their option, Clay, to take it to whatever?
Yes, it is. The offense could put it wherever you want it. Sometimes with a right-footed kicker, if he's been pulling the ball a little bit, you're going to be able to set here, and maybe he's more comfortable having this kind of an angle than kicking straight on. One thing about Antioch's goalposts is they don't go up very high. No, it's like we're back in 1935.
Well, I think they're the same goalposts from 1935.
Well, that would explain it.
The kick is up, and it's good. 7-0. Let's take another look at the touchdown. But 3 plays, all on the ground, right down the field.
Pierre just gets through, little dance to the outside. The cornerback crashes in. Nice block from
Tino Feliz.
Tino Feliz. That's a key play. One thing when you only have those 3 defensive backs, if those cornerbacks close in to try to make a play up the middle, then the running back could just dip outside, as Pierre did. And if you got speed, you got a touchdown. Ferris Anthony figuring, well, looks like we're going to have to score at least once here.
And you probably figured he thought that.
Probably. Well, he would have taken a 0-0 tie.
Well, has there ever been one, Clay? You have the scores here.
There has, I believe, in fact, there has been a 0-0 tie, but I could be wrong.
Yes, actually, there were 2 in 1937. Boy, those must have been some offensively challenged teams in 1937.
Yes, sir. That was a lot of memories. Well, there's probably some people around who remember those games. But this is the 86th meeting, one of which was a playoff game, but for the most part, it's always been the culmination of the regular season. As Dan Wall pointed out, in 1974, there was a bit of an altercation which caused the games to be moved to Saturday afternoons instead of the Friday nights that they had been played out on to that point.
And to a neutral site, to DVC for many years. My senior year, the game was played there, a great game. Hurtado to kick, Jesslyn Robinson and Ricky Aloha. son of one of my former classmates, Rick Uloa, back deep. And Robinson, that ball just stuck right at the 9-yard line.
A 9-iron.
Robinson out to the 24-yard line this looks like a rugby scrum out of somewhere in Great Britain right now, Clay.
Well, that was a nice run. You know, Robinson never went down.
Here's the Antioch offense. Anthony Arroyos is the starting quarterback. Robinson, who needs 16 yards for 1,000, is one of the running backs with Dustin Gentry. Yaloa and Brian Newberry, wide receivers. Floyd Jones is the tight end. Steve Kochesberger, Joe Reed, Steve Smith, Ben Purdy, Anthony Farmer across the front line. You've seen Jeff Wall already on the kickoff for the Antioch Panthers. 1-8. As we mentioned, last week they lost to their other rival, 29-21 over at Deer Valley High School.
That was a nice game for them. They showed something in that game. A lot of people thought that one was going to be a big rout, but they hung in there and made Deer Valley work to get that win. Hey, Deer Valley's probably a playoff team.
Yeah, I think they will. We'll talk about the 4A bracket and some of the other playoff matchups that we anticipate. That meeting will be held on Sunday afternoon. One thing Ferris told me, Clay, he wishes he could play this season over. He thinks his team has improved since game 1. Arroyos to throw, first down, has plenty of time. Now he's in trouble, and he's in the paws of big Lucius Mills, and then Avery Passalacqua cleaned up the rest of that mess at the 20-yard line, a loss of 5.
Something went wrong. Arroyos was looking downfield. He had plenty of time, and then he foolishly stepped into the wrong man, Lucius Mills, who's right there on your screen.
And there he is with Willie Fafiti and Avery Passalacqua, one of my favorite names. Kyle Piper closes out that defensive front. Tino Felice, Saka Fafiti, and Dominic Cardinale make up one of the best linebacking crews in the area. Joseph Blackmon and Antoine Pierre. Corners today with Ramon Rodriguez and Rafael Itzen in the defensive backfield for the defensive coordinator, our good friend Jimmy Scheib. And Robinson goes nowhere. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and very long, and already we have a little bit of chicanery down there on the field, Clay.
Yes, there's the mouths, my guess is, are not shut.
No. And probably won't be.
That's one thing about a rivalry game. It does add a little bit of intensity. I was reading about an NFL defensive lineman, who said, he's a 6 or 7 year veteran. He said, you know, when I first came into the league, I used to talk a lot, but now I realize I really don't have the energy to waste on that.
I think the older you get, the more you understand. And that's how that works. 3rd, and just because we're here in Antioch, Contra Loma for the Panthers. Arroyos to throw.
3-man pattern. The tight end is open, but
and he's going to be sacked. And this is not pretty so far for the Antioch Panthers. Felice, who has more hair than the entire Antioch front line, and Kyle Pfeiffer were there to make that stop. Here's a replay, Clay.
Arroyos had a man open, but to hit the guy who's open, you have to have time, and he's already got happy feet. And there's the tackle. That's Pittsburgh's version of Joe Meningo, the linebacker for the Cal Bears. And the Bears looking for the big game. It'll be played. You will already know who won by the time you watch this broadcast.
Tonight on Saturday, you could be watching, or Sunday. Antioch on that, 3 plays minus 11 yards. So the tale of a number of tapes there. And Pittsburgh, I don't think they had enough guys.
No, they were missing a guy on the field, and so they had to burn a timeout to get number 51, Nico Arellano on the field. Arellano.
Comcast Game of the Week brought to you by these great friends of the program, Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria in Walnut Creek, Contra Costa Clean Water Program, and Mr. Funnelhead. Brendan Theaters, there's a lot of great movies out, including The Polar Express. We'll talk about some of those great movies as we move on during the broadcast. Battalia's Italian Food in Antioch, RSC Rental Service Corporation, Rental Sales and Service in Martinez, Plumbers Heating and Air Conditioning and Sheet Metal in Antioch. Just while we have a timeout here, Pittsburgh had to call it. There's Coach Anthony, of course. We'll have a lot of Coach Anthony, I'm sure. The Polar Express.
There is a lot of Coach Anthony.
Yes, there is a lot of Coach Anthony. Bridget Jones, the second installment of that came out. And then also Ray, Alfie, After the Sunset, and The Incredibles. So there's a lot of good movies at the Brendan Theaters. As we had a picture from, that's kind of like Tightwad Hill at the high school level over there. Those are the baseball stands we saw. As you can see, the baseball field behind us. There it is right there. The restrooms and the stands there. That's actually where we do our baseball broadcast when we're here at Antioch. You can see the retired numbers over there. And a safety and a penalty flag and a jailbreak. and it looked like, God, it looked like a Saturday night back at the Bridgehead Drive-In on that one, Clay.
I think Pittsburgh's offside on this one. Otherwise, the whistle would have blown. The Pirates seem to feel they had something going on. No, it's an illegal procedure. That blows the ball dead, though, so this play does not count. They'll move it back 5 yards. Though Dan Leary's going over to ask them whether they want the result of the play or they want the result of the... that's very odd. Usually you get a illegal procedure penalty. It's a dead ball foul, and there's nothing you can do. In this case, however, the penalty is declined, and it is indeed a safety.
It's probably because it was actually a motion penalty and a side as opposed to a lineman being set. So it's 9-0, and you just hope, you really wish that at least this game would stay competitive, just for
our sake,
for our sponsors' sake, and for Coach Anthony's sake, because you don't want to see him go out on a line like this. But last year it was 63-27. Antioch's only won once in the last 5, twice in the last 8. And Clay, you have all the scores there. Are there any games that jump out to you from the Big Little Game history?
Well, one of them is in 1957 when Pittsburgh won 61-7, and we're sort of on track for that kind of result right now. That's not the kind of thing that anybody wants to see at this level of play. You want to have a good game, and you also don't want to get into a big margin of victory in a rivalry game, because that just increases the odds of somebody saying, well, what do I care? I think I'll clock this guy.
Exactly. Now, Clay, you and Dave Jackson were the only two of us in the booth alive for that game, so maybe you can offer further commentary on anything pre-1960. I didn't start going until 1966, I believe it was. I was a wee lad, a 13-13 tie, and since 66, I've only missed one of the succeeding. I believe now we're up to about 38 games. Here's the punt after the safety. DeCibio drops the punt, but picks it up, and he's still on his feet. Across midfield to the 45. One good thing about a fumble, Clay, is when it falls, it falls right in front of you. It just drops like a basket.
Well, the kickoff, it just hit the ground, and sorry, we have business to do here.
That's right. Rock Bottom Records this week, Collective Soul. Next week, U2 has a new album coming out. The New Mecca Cafe. Thanks for today's crew meal, guys. Burke, Janice, and Keller, Doctors of Dentistry. Images of 3 Harrison Line. Hello to the girls down there, Randy's Carpet Care, and El Coqui, Puerto Rican Cuisine, 2nd Street in Antioch.
Now, when the ball hits the ground, it does just stop. It's sort of like playing golf. You hit a good 9-iron, boom, it's going to stick right there.
Actually, mine just usually sticks where it is because it doesn't go any farther.
My divots go a long way, though.
From the Antioch 45, first down. Pittsburgh already ahead 9-0 here, and we've only played 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Crowley to throw, has plenty of time, but he's hit and almost fumbled. I think he got it back. Sean Harper was there alongside number 52, Adrian Arias, who made the initial hit for the Panthers, but I think that's where Antioch really has to, if they're going to do anything in this game. Well, I've even told people that have asked me about this, is that you can get to Crowley. I think that's the one Achilles heel, the Pittsburgh offense.
And absolutely, and that's a big problem. When you have a really good running game, like as the Pirates do, you don't tend to pass block with the same kind of fervor. Linemen like to just fire out and drive people off the ball. Pass blocking takes a different kind of mindset, and that time it broke down. They had a chance for a long gain on that play, but he just didn't have time to get the ball off.
Hand off to Blanche, and Blanche is hammered by Harper, and I believe Arias again. So Harper and Arias, quite a tandem here on this sequence of plays. A loss of a couple. It's going to be 3rd and 17, or in big game history, 3rd and the Stamp Theater.
Well, it could be. I was going to say 3rd in the Snow White.
Or Humphreys. I mean, you know.
Right.
For those of you on this side of the hill, we can actually have a little fun with the locations, because we can actually remember some of them.
Right. 3rd in Collinsville. That's a good one, too.
But that play, you got to shoot the gap, and that time Arias made a nice play. Harper was there as well, and in that mud bowl right there, I think maybe that's where you can get them. You know, if they get outside on where it's a little drier, that could be a problem.
Absolutely. I think they also enjoyed sticking his face mask in the water, too.
You know, kids. 3rd down. Crowley to throw.
Got a man.
Sideline. Throws. He has Davis. Davis made the catch at around the 40 and is drugged all the way back to the 48-yard line. We'll have to see where they actually spot this play, but it looks like because he made the impetus to come back, that he actually lost about 5 yards after he caught it, and it's going to be 4th and 11.
We have 3 officials all standing at different spots on the field to determine. He did come back for the ball, couldn't quite get enough on it, and a nice play, just slinging him backwards there. Brian Luis is going to have a tough day in the defensive backfield. They're looking long.
They actually marked it where he was tackled, so it's 4th and 11. Hurtado is the punter as well. Robinson is back with Jeff Waugh, and a nice kick by Hurtado. And it's going to blow dead at about the 13-yard line, so that's where Antioch will take over. Not great field position for the Panthers on their second drive. 5:16 to go, 9-0 Pittsburgh. The Antioch Armory. Now, Clay, this is something you'll appreciate for all your home protection needs, is what the Antioch Armory sells down there. Guns and other fine protection items.
I've always wanted an AK-47, you know, just in case some of the deer up in the hills get a little rambunctious.
The Pantel's music box, of course. For
great stuff. I still have their CD player in my car.
Wendy Marie's Aesthetics, downtown Antioch. Back to live action. Robinson on first down. And not much. And yeah, okay.
Not much, and in fact,
this looks like the early second half of the longest yard.
Oh, we got a late flag on that. I think they're going to give him a personal foul. That's a good call, actually, a little late. Yep, unsportsmanlike conduct is against Pittsburgh. Yeah. That's going to be 15 yards. That is not something Vic Galley wants to see.
We're going to send it down to Joey Acuna. Go, Joey.
Thanks, Dan. We're standing here next to the parents for the center for the Panthers, Steven Kochensberger. The parents' names are?
Robert.
Stacy.
Now, Robert, you've been backing up your son for a long time. Tell us about the Panthers. And
It's been a long season for them, but I got to tell you, these guys have stuck it out. Nobody's quit on them, and in our book, they're all winners, man. Straight up. So is Panther football, baby. Looking at you.
Stacy, what would you like to say as a mother for the Panthers?
They've got a lot of heart. A lot of heart. We're all real fortunate.
Got anything else to say?
Go Panthers, man.
Panthers!
Let's go. Let's go.
Back up to you, Dan and Clay.
The first down of the game on the penalty. Handoff to Gentry, and Gentry behind the line of scrimmage. You know, this is the point I was making. I think we kind of lost it and all that, Clay. Remember when in the second half of the Longest Yard movie, when Burt Reynolds kind of gave up for a quarter? Remember how the guards just buried? This is kind of what it looks like right now for Annie.
It is a long yard for Antioch, but they did get a first down. Sometimes a penalty will help you get started. They also stopped him. So it may be 9-0, but if Antioch could just put some things together, move down the field. We saw a Concord team that only won one game give Las Lomas all they could handle. Same kind of situation. Las Lomas came out, dominated early, but Dublin hung in there. Hopefully the Panthers will too.
This time a short drop, and it's thrown over the head of Ricky Aloa at the 32-yard line. 3rd and long again for Antioch. Antioch at this point right now, I think the challenge is just to keep the clock running, to run 3 or 4 plays without just giving the ball back to Pittsburgh.
They need to run that personal foul play again so they can get another first down.
I can just hear that call. Personal foul play on 4.
Say something about the kid's mother. Make sure the ref is watching.
3rd and 15 for Antioch from their 25-yard line. Arroyos hasn't really had much time to look or find a receiver. This time a short drop, in trouble again, sacked again, Avery Pasalacqua. And it's like the linemen of just kind of trade off. Here's Piper, here's Mills, here's Pasalacqua. Same result though, Clay.
It's just not. People always talk about skill players. People always talk about the quarterback. They talk about the running back. But I'll tell you, if you don't have an offensive line that can execute, you can't do anything as a football team. I always felt the offensive line's like a drummer in a rock band. If you don't have that beat, I don't care how good the guitar player is.
That's a good point. Here's a close-up.
Anthony Arroyo's got a real close-up of that mud right there. That was exactly where he was.
There's a close-up of the mud, actually, here. And there's a lot of it, as Clay pointed out. Suspicious why there's still pools of water and it hasn't rained since late Thursday.
And the sun is shining, you might notice.
The sun is shining. It's actually a very nice day.
It's gorgeous.
But the field turf issue and coming to Antioch, I don't think we're going to see that in anytime soon. I think Highway 4 will be rebuilt before we see it. Jeff Wass kick, a nice kick.
Really nice punt.
Davis makes the catch at his own 40.
He gets outside.
Makes a move. He's across midfield. He's across the Antioch 40. And one thing at least we're seeing here tonight is some
penalty flag late. Already we got it going on.
I think we have a late hit here. We're seeing some gang tackling, and that's what happens when you get a couple guys in, another guy thinks he can make a hit, and then you have trouble.
Holding. Oh, it's not good. At least it's not a personal foul, but it's a holding against Pittsburgh. That's going to move the ball back, and that'll be administered from the spot of the foul, unless it was past the end of the run. And it looks like it's going to be administered. Tony just let it. I don't know if you'd really call that marching off the penalty. He's sort of like strolling off the penalty. It's a
23-yard return, and then the loss here. That's what it looks like down on the field. That's Arroyos.
That's right. He's got some of the field with him right there. The field turf issue here in Antioch, it's really a shame over the years. The Antioch Unified School District 10 years ago was not well served by its people who are running it, and they've got into a financial hole that they've really never been able to get out of. And there's no margin for error in school districts anymore. It's a sad story in California.
First down from the 47. Blanche tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Another nice play. This time number 32, Randy Snap. And you know, he got off on the snap.
No kidding. Well, was that a snap, crackle, pop kind of play?
Yes, it was.
Dave Jackson is hurting at the moment. He's had a little intestinal pain with that last line, but I'm sure he'll bear up because there's plenty more to come, right, Dan?
Well, Randy Snap is a name you can use many times, and I won't give away the other 2 or 3 I have prepared right now. Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. The ball is right at midfield for Pittsburgh. Pierre, nice run, gain of 6. It'll bring up 3rd and 8 as the clock is running. 2:10 to go first quarter. And you know, Clay, so far this game's about as ugly as Thanksgiving dinner at Kid Rock's house.
I like that. That's a good line. Yeah, this game is ugly, but actually it's a game, an ugly kind of game that Antioch can love. What's happening here is if Antioch can't, or Pittsburgh can't get a first down on this sequence, Antioch can look around and say, you know, we can play with these guys.
Defensively, we've not played bad. They've had 2 big plays.
You can hang and as coaches always say, if you let a team hang around too long, something can happen in the 4th quarter. Here's a pass. He's got a man open.
And he throws what looked like a Hoyt Wilhelm knuckleball to Brown, who makes the catch. A gain of 7. It's going to bring up 4th and short here, Clay.
They're going for it.
The only problem with your analysis is that Antioch has to score at least 10 points.
Oh, well.
Because Pittsburgh has 9 right now, and as you can see by what we've seen early, Antioch has negative yardage, and they've started with horrible field position.
It could be that you pull one trick play out, you get a fumble because Pittsburgh does have turnover problems. This is a big play right here. This is a big play right here. If Antioch could somehow stop Pittsburgh on this play, we could have a shift in momentum.
4th and short, long count, handoff, Blanche, he doesn't get it. Who is Randy Snap? Who is this guy, number 32? That was just a snap for Randy.
That's exactly right. And he must have known the snap count.
And number 52, Adrian Arias. These guys are getting into and this is a good line. They're bigger than Antioch, and they've made some very nice. Now Antioch finally has some field position to work with here, Clay. Here's a replay.
They just sold out, shot every gap, and made the play. That's what you have to do sometimes when you're in an underdog situation. I'll tell you, if that was a play-action pass, there was going to be nobody deep. But if I'm Ferris Anthony, that's exactly what I'm doing. And right now, all of a sudden, Antioch should be thinking, hey, these guys aren't that hot, and that's exactly what Vic Alley doesn't want Antioch thinking at this point.
You saw Arias on the sidelines. First down, Gentry, and I guess what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I don't know what that meant, Dan, but it sounded great. Actually, that play, even though they gained yardage on that play.
One good turn deserves another.
One good turn to there's another. Dave Jackson, you got to help me out on
Number
this.
32 on both teams is having a hell of a. That was Felice making the hit at the line of scrimmage, just like Snap did.
Okay.
Whatever you can do, I can do better.
Can you translate for me, Dave? Just try to keep up, will you?
No gain, 2nd and 10.
No, they gained 6 or 7 inches, and we're counting everything. I don't mean to bust on Antioch, but and there's another. There's a nice play by Robinson. They got a chance for a first down here. You put together a couple of first downs, something happens. If they can get on the board, it's a one-possession game. Pittsburgh may have actually been hurt by having things come too easily right out of the chute.
That's a good point. Gain of 6. It'll be 3rd and about 4, right at the 45-yard. I keep thinking we're at midfield, but we're actually a little to the left. Midfield is a little to our right. If you can actually even read that that's the 50-yard line, but that's our guess. Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria voted best pizza in the East Bay, Ignacio Valley Road at Oak Grove. One of the great Italian restaurants in our area, folks. Great sponsor of the high school game of the week. And I think Antioch's just going to let the quarter run out. So they bend a little, don't necessarily break. And at the end of the first quarter, Pittsburgh has a 9-0 lead, as you see another one of our great sponsors, Brendan Theaters. But just like that, we're out of here. That was pretty quick considering it took almost an hour to get the game started. And we'll be back with the second quarter after this on Comcast.
Congratulations to Ashley Lucas of Discovery Bay, Martha Esmond out of Richmond, and grand prize winner Nicholas Goodrich of Antioch for the 2004 Mr. Funnelhead Magnet Art Contest. Now it's time to do your part by recycling your used oil and filters. Certified centers are located throughout the county, or if you have curbside oil and filter recycling, just leave it on the curb with the rest of the recyclable items. For more information, call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Mazzei, and welcome to our new location.
Mazzei Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC has moved to Pittsburgh. We now have room for lots more inventory and a pristine service department with the most current state-of-the-art equipment for all your repairs. You get all this with the same one-on-one personal service you've always had with us.
Come by and choose the vehicle that fits you best.
Visit our brand new location today, Mazzei Pontiac Cadillac Buick GMC in Pittsburgh on Century Way off Highway 4, exit Summersville North.
Take advantage today with rates at record lows. Charter Funding Incorporated of Antioch is your local mortgage broker whose commitment is service with integrity. Charter Funding Incorporated works with many lenders to find the best program to fit your needs. First-time home buyers, 100% financing, no down payment, and interest only. No one is left out. Whether it's a rate reduction, cash out, new purchase, good or bad credit, let the professionals at Charter Funding Incorporated handle all your loan details. Call us today at 776-1700.
Robinson on the 3rd down play was dumped for a loss, Clay, as we get back. Let's just take a quick look at the replay here.
Just a straight handoff. They tried to establish a little something off the left side, and they're going to have to punt the ball, but that's really not a bad outcome for the Panthers at this point.
What they really need to do is get Pittsburgh into a field possession and field position type of game. They've had really good field position. I think they've started almost every drive on their own, on Antioch's side of the field. And this is the first time Antioch's actually had an opportunity to back them up. Jeff Wass punt. And then after all that,
penalty flag,
the punt. And see what happens, Clay, is the minute that ball hits in the mud, it just stops. That is about a 7-yard punt. And there's a penalty flag.
But the penalty flag could help.
Let's take a look at the sponsors, because we know that's not dirty or muddy. Charter Funding Incorporated in Antioch. Mellows
holding against Pittsburgh.
Mellows Heating and Air Conditioning in Oakley. S&S Import Service. Thanks to Randy for fixing my car this week. Golf and Games in Antioch. Celia's Mexican Restaurant. Roger Fernando, State Farm Insurance in San Ramon. Congratulations to the Acalanes Dons. And how in the name of Jeremy Newberry do you hold on that punt?
That's just incredible. It makes absolutely no sense at all. But Pittsburgh is playing just the kind of game that is going to make life hard for itself, not only today, but in the postseason. They cannot afford to be sloppy, to make these kinds of mistakes if they expect to live up to their potential in postseason this year.
And we'll talk about that in the second half. They will definitely have a home game next week, but after that, things get a little dicier for the Pirates. First down, and Pierre, and once again, how is Antioch getting an end or a lineman, a backer, into the backfield? I mean, no one else we've seen play Pittsburgh other than maybe De La Salle has been able to do this. How's Antioch doing?
They are shooting the gaps. They are just, if you look, it looks like they're playing one of the techniques where they're just playing off the inside shoulder, and they're just, I think the other thing they're trying to do, or they're successful in doing, is they are anticipating the snap count a little bit. They're going on, Pittsburgh tends to go on the same rhythm, and Antioch's just going with it, and so I'd say a little longer count, see if they can draw some people off.
You would think a sweep or maybe even a screen pass would be open with that kind of activity.
There it is again.
Harper nearly took the handoff from Crowley because, as you mentioned, anticipating the snap count, shooting a gap, it was all right there for him.
Yeah, you're right. He could have taken the handoff, and who knows how far he would have gone. All of a sudden, if you're looking at this game right now, and you just tuned in at the start of the game, here you can see, here comes the penetration. You would not think that the Pittsburgh Pirates, the team in orange, is one of the best teams in Northern California, and that Antioch's only won one game all year. Yes, Pittsburgh's ahead 9-0, but it's not like, oh, they're so much better, they don't even deserve to be on the field.
Blanche gained 30 yards on that one play early.
Yes.
Has lost 15 on his last 4 carries, down to 20 yards from scrimmage for Derek Blanche. Derek Blanche, of course, we mentioned, the #1 rusher in the area with 1,573 yards and 21 touchdowns coming into today's game. Crowley to throw, has time, throws, has a receiver, Davis. It's tipped away by Jeslyn Robinson, incomplete, and Antioch holds again. And how many people can say in the first half that they held Pittsburgh 3 consecutive drives?
And they have done so. This is the first time Crowley, he's got plenty of time. He looks downfield, but you're going to see this play is not open. Robinson is over there. He is right there. Even if that pass is good, there's a really good chance that Robinson is either going to knock it down or intercept it. But as it is, it was too tall, incomplete, and we got a punt.
Crawley and the backup for Pittsburgh, number 13, Craig Piper, a sophomore, have thrown for 1,235 yards, and Davis is their leading receiver with 21 catches for 658, but nothing so far today for the Pittsburgh passing
They're
game,
going
really.
for the block.
And they almost blocked it, and it was almost roughing, and I think just about everything still came together for Antioch as it's touched by DeCibio at the 35-yard line.
That was another break for Antioch because that ball bounced. It would have bounced a lot further down, but DeCibio was standing right there, and the ball hit him. So Antioch has decent field position, but as you pointed out, Dan, they have got to do some things to score. One of the things they could do to score would be to block a punt, and they made a move. They were very close.
And how they avoided Hurtado is another thing. 33-yard punt, no return. Antioch from the 35-yard line here early in the second quarter, down just 9-0. And really, other than that first sequence of plays, those 2 big plays from Blanche and Pierre, Antioch has played pretty evenly with Pittsburgh.
That's got a chance here. That's almost pass interference, and indeed it is.
It is. Good call.
That's why you pay me the big bucks.
That's exactly right. Joseph Blackman guarding Ricky Uloa, and a pass interference call. That'll be a 15-yard penalty and a first down for Antioch.
As you know, in high school, unlike the NFL, the penalty is not at the spot of the foul. The penalty is marked off from the line of scrimmage. So here we'll watch. That's Dan Leary. You have a shot of him there on the screen explaining the penalty. There's Tony Gisletta. Got into a trot marching off. Marching, I guess, again, is sort of the wrong word. But they do get the first down. Tony's been around a long time. You're a very good official. We see a lot of guys out here who've been around a long time doing officials. One thing every sport needs is more officials. So go out there, give something back to sports. Help ref games.
First down from midfield. Robinson outside, and the best offensive play so far. Near a first down. Fafiti knocked him out of bounds. Pierre was there as well. I think it's going to be just short, Clay. It's going to bring up second. But Antioch is sticking around in this one, and thank God for us, because we don't want you to go over and watch Cops at 8 o'clock tonight on Fox.
No, that would be a horrible thing. No, this is just if I'm scripting the game for Pittsburgh, for Antioch, from Ferris Anthony's point of view, actually this is pretty much what I want to have happen. I want Pittsburgh to get a little overconfident early. I want to hang around in the game. I want to get on the board, and then who knows what can happen.
Because the buses breaking down on the way over didn't happen.
Right.
That was number one.
That was plan A.
That was plan A. Didn't happen. The field muddy. Pittsburgh making a lot of mistakes, and very interesting. We have some the officials out. Clay, well, we have an opportunity. Ferris Anthony in his 9th and final year as a head coach here. The rumor is he wants to coach maybe the freshman or the junior varsity. He wants to stick in the program, just doesn't want the responsibility of the varsity program. Will remain a gym teacher and a wrestling promoter, which is very important to me. Troy Amati, John Lucido, Sean Taylor. Now, Frank Beatty is in line to take over for Coach Anthony. Frank Beatty played at Antioch, went to Panhandle State, one of the great names in college football, played for the Seattle Seahawks, and has won 2 Arena Bowl championships with the San Jose SaberCats. Lee Petrozetti, whose son's on the roster here. John Lucido, Dave Gonzalez, the JV coach here. Jeff Rich and Bob Fisher, the administration for the Antioch Panthers.
Actually, I fully understand Ferris Anthony's desire. You like a lot of coaches, if you like to teach, that's what it is. The head coach's job involves dealing with the media and other parasites, and so you're
like
a
me.
lot. Yes, you're a lot. It's a lot more fun in a lot of ways to coach at the lower levels.
Second down, Gentry has a first down. So Antioch, I believe, and I'm going to look to Dave Jackson, that's their first down, aside from a penalty, yes. 4th overall, but the first that wasn't from a penalty, Clay. That's an interesting stat here early.
Absolutely. It's going to be this is a key drive here. The clock is running, which is what Antioch wants. They're keeping the score down. If they could somehow get on the board, something good could really happen for them in the second half of this game.
Well, it looks like, too, that they finally opened some holes in the Pittsburgh defensive line. They the first 10 plays from scrimmage, Antioch looked really hopeless for them. But so far, on this drive, they're moving the ball. There's Robinson again. Maybe they found the answer on the right side. A gain of 8. Going to be 3rd and 2. We're going to send it down to Joey with another special guest.
Thanks, Dan. We're standing here next to Derek Blanche, number 3 for the Pirates running back. His father, Michael Blanche. Michael, tell us about your son.
Oh, he's a great kid. He's doing well in school. He's looking to go to college. He's just a great all-around kid.
Has he signed with the team already?
No, he's undecided at this point. He's still looking.
All right now he's having a tough time today. What do you attribute that to?
Oh, I think he'll come back the second half and have a great game.
All right, got anything to say to the Pirates?
Yeah, let's go Pirates.
Thanks, Dan.
I always said Joey Acuna would make a hell of a funeral director.
Well, I got to say, Dan, that's just jealousy on your part. I mean, you know.
That's what they tell me.
He's looking sharper than we have ever looked, combined.
It's either that or the host of the new Solid Gold program that they're bringing back. Joey Acuna would fit right in there. Gain of 1 on 2nd down. 3rd and 2 for Antioch from the 29-yard line. Their deepest position in the Pittsburgh side of the field, or on the Pittsburgh side of the field.
4-down territory. They'll go for it no matter what here.
Arroyo's hands off. Gentry.
He got the first down, I think. Yes, close. I think he gave him the spot.
Felice and Fafiti were there, 2 great linebackers. This is their last regular season game. Clay, Pittsburgh has ran the board early, 8-0. But you made an interesting point. All the games they played early, which looked like we're going to set them up for the big season and the De La Salle game, kind of failed for them. Miramani didn't turn out to be much this year. Hayward wasn't as strong as always. Vintage wasn't as good as they were supposed to be. The league's not as strong as it was. And then they play De La Salle, and hello, here's a team that almost played a college schedule, and now you got to go up against the Spartans.
Well, as I mentioned earlier when we were talking about it, what Pittsburgh's first team hasn't had to play a full game yet. They have been in a situation where they've been sitting on the bench watching from late in the 3rd quarter, and that hurt them, I think, against De La Salle. They just got an offside there. That's a great job. I'll tell you, Antioch is playing well. They are doing everything they need to do to win this game. They are running the clock and moving the ball.
Dave Jackson, this is a great stat. Antioch's ran 13 plays from scrimmage, and they now have 1 yard of total offense. I mean, but they're sticking around. That's the one thing you can tell. You can tell at least they got fired up for the game. Maybe they don't have. Pittsburgh has 5 penalties for 60 yards in the first 17 minutes of the game, and I agree with you, Clay. You can't play like this against De La Salle or Amador or even Foothill or Logan. I mean,
right. A team like Foothill, you give them this many penalties and you're sloppy and jump offside, it's going to kill you.
Robinson, and he was tackled by the mud on that one, Clay.
Well, he was. The one reason he was tackled by the mud is he saw a very large individual. I believe that was Kyle Pfeiffer, who was about to rearrange the features on his face, so he decided to try to change direction, which is not really possible on this field.
Back to 0 for the Panthers. We're not making light of it, folks, but it's just, you know, I mean, how many times do you see that in a game? Antioch actually they have 60 yards. If you take away, I think, 1 on the defensive side, they've gained 55 yards on Pittsburgh penalties and none on their own.
And you know, it's 9-0. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you get there. I mean, they could throw the ball up here and have a big play. Ooh, nice tackle, nice penetration.
That was Tavita McClain, who rivals Tino Felice for best hair on the Pirates.
That was a really nice play, and you can see that the footing isn't really good, and Robinson is 5'10", 180. He's not a real big guy, and took a hit. Couldn't quite keep his balance in the backfield, because if he got by that hit, if he could have kept his balance, some good things would have happened.
We'll have to keep an eye on it, Clay, but even with that loss, Robinson now over 1,000 yards on the season. 1,001 yards for Jesslyn Robinson, 9 touchdowns.
That's a tremendous achievement on a team that's only won 1 game when they know you're the only offensive weapon.
3rd and 11. Arroyos takes a short drop, throws into the near sideline for Yaloa, and it's incomplete. The coverage that time from Ramon Rodriguez, number 20 for Pittsburgh. It's going to bring up a 4th down, and I would believe that Antioch would go for it here unless they want to try to pooch one down into the mud pit, down around the 5 or 6 yard line.
That's a very difficult kick to make. And the other thing that I heard from a pro coach, that one of the difficulty about trying to angle for the coffin corner or try to pooch kick is that sometimes you can really get a really, really bad kick, and especially since the last punt was 7 yards, your punter probably doesn't have a lot of confidence right now, so why not go for it?
See what Antioch has up their sleeve here on 4th and 11.
Single coverage this side of the field.
Arroyos has time, throws, had a receiver at Uloa. He bobbled it, and then Pierre made the defensive play, and Antioch goes out on downs here, Clay, with 5:37 to go in the half. But Pittsburgh only gets the ball at the 27-yard line. So actually, that's probably the worst starting point so far for Pittsburgh.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, that last play was only a few inches from being a big play. You could look Yaloa, you could say he might have been able to catch the ball if the pass had been a little bit more in front of him. He's got Pierre beat on this, and he's in line for a big gain if that ball is just a little bit more in front of him. And that would have put the ball to 15, 10-yard line, and hey, Antioch's going to score. But like baseball, football is a game of inches.
So we're battling between about the 30s right now, Clay. Here as Pittsburgh gets the ball.
They're due for a big play.
Pitch to Blanche, and Blanche gains 7. And once again, snap was there. In a snap.
Well, one
Just
thing
like that.
One thing they did on that play, they went to sort of the quick pitch outside, because obviously Pittsburgh's Antioch has decided to slant inside and try to cut off the inside run. So as you had mentioned, a sweep, screen pass, anything to take the pressure off of the off that line to punish Antioch for making that particular kind of defensive decision. You can't stop Pittsburgh always, all the time.
2nd and 3. And Pfeiffer is in the game at quarterback. Handoff to Pierre. And Pierre maybe gets 1. Now, Pierre was a transfer from Mount Diablo, was unable to play the first 9 games of the season, and I was told by Coach Galley he's playing today because they want to get him ready for the playoffs.
It's interesting why Croswell isn't in the game at this point. It's not as if Antioch or Pittsburgh is winning by a lot.
Matt's taking our picture. That's why we're smiling.
Yes, we're trying to be as good looking as possible, and with Dan and me, that's a serious effort.
Yeah, you need one of those blurry things on your TV, a tint or something, to make that happen. 3rd and 3.
I don't think he got there.
I think the spot is going to.
Yes, he did give him that. He did give it to him on the spot. But then again,
it was Blanche.
If you were thinking that Pittsburgh's just going to roll right over and dominate the game, think again, there's 3:46 to go here in the first half, and the score is 9-0. It's a 9-point spread. A lot of people were thinking that last year's 37-point spread, 36-point spread was probably a little conservative this year. So far, it's not playing out that way.
Well, I think, too, this would probably be a different game in some aspects if we were playing on the field turf over at Pittsburgh and on their home field. Obviously this field is limiting what they can do, but I'll give Antioch credit for developing a nice game plan and sticking to it, and they've really limited Pittsburgh offensively here.
I have not noticed Pittsburgh's running backs really being hampered by the field. Maybe a little bit because it's not as fast, but it's not as if they're slipping and sliding around. It's not as if the quarterback hasn't been able to grip the ball, things like that.
Fitness 19 for $19, where you can afford to be fit in Walnut Creek. Gordon Gravel, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, and Suncrest Homes here in Antioch. Go Cycles for all your cycle accessory needs in downtown Antioch. Ostertag's Tuxedo, your prom headquarters out on Century Boulevard in Pittsburgh.
Easy for you to say.
Yes, thank you. One of the Antioch Panthers on the sideline here. You know, the thing it might, Clay, is, we're having more photos.
More photos. It's a photo shoot.
A photo op, thank you. Matt must be giving like production duties out to the crew today or something. Morgan's running the truck right now. It might not be the players, but the coaches, their mindset might be, we can't run that play through the middle of the field in the slot. So,
you know, and that's really something that happens. Sometimes you outthink yourself. You look at the mud and you think, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Sometimes you just got to go with what brought you here and don't worry about the conditions. I haven't seen Pittsburgh that much, so I can't really say if the play calling's any different.
yes, Pfeiffer is the quarterback, the sophomore. He'll be the quarterback next year. Here's Blanche.
And there's the big play they were looking for.
He's still on his feet down the sidelines, all the way into the end zone.
No penalty flags.
Wait, they're calling him, I believe, out of bounds back at the 46-yard line.
Yes, they are. And it doesn't look like the Pittsburgh sideline is really excited about that call. In fact, one of the coaches is pointing to the sideline and saying, look, he didn't step there. That's a break, I have a feeling, for Antioch, because you just keep waiting for them to make a big play, and they ran that sweep to the short side and looked like they got the long touchdown. Instead, they got a first down. There's 3:05 to go. I don't believe that Pittsburgh has completed a pass yet to this point.
I think the one to Davis that he lost yardage on
That's
when
correct.
he came back. That's it. 15-yard gain, first down. You could see, though, on that play, Blanche's speed, if he can work outside and actually get into that dry side of the field. Here's a replay.
We're not going to get a really good angle on whether he stepped out of bounds or not. We are going to notice that he's pretty fast because he just took off.
So the officials have a timeout.
They're just getting everything set.
Fifth first down, all rushing for the Pirates.
They're going to need to pass to score, I think, before halftime.
The ball's at the 47-yard line. You note that Crowley becomes a wide receiver when Pfeiffer comes in. Same play to Blanche, and this time ahead for about 8.
Pittsburgh players down. It looks like number 75, Lucius Mills.
That's a big loss for Pittsburgh. He's a great lineman for them.
He is in pain. He is hurting. He's lying down, face down on the field. You can see him. He's rolling over. Let's see what they're going to look at. It seems like a knee. Yep, looks like his left knee. That is not a good sign.
Blanche now with 50 yards on 8 carries. Pierre has 24 on 6. And as you mentioned, Clay, they actually have 2 completed passes, 2 of 3 for 9 yards, though.
And again, especially even on a field like this, you like to be able to complete some passes to open it up. Antioch has just been able to say, hey, okay, we're going to stop the run, and if you beat us with the pass, you can beat us, and they have not been able to do so. One reason is by committing as they are to being aggressive, they're not reading and reacting at all on defense. They're just they're attacking gaps. That also gives you better pressure on the quarterback. That's a great sign to see him walking off the field. Hopefully we'll be able to see him in action in the second half. Ferris Anthony's probably hoping his injury is just serious enough that it doesn't heal until about 4:30 this afternoon.
Yes, I was going to mention. David Johnson will take Mills' place in the lineup for Pittsburgh. As it's now 2nd and 3. The clock is running with... That's actually stopped with 2:52 to go.
Even though Dan Leary keeps trying to wind it.
Trying to wind it and get it to run. I thought that was the signal that came from the field. Pfeiffer to throw for the first time. Throws near sideline. And Davis was defended by the lawn and the conditions.
Well, and also there was tremendous pressure again applied by Adrian Arias, who has done a great job defending both the run and the pass. Sure, that's a second-string quarterback, but it's always hard to throw when you got a 200-pound guy hanging on your other arm.
3rd and 3 for Pittsburgh. Now, Pfeiffer, as we mentioned, has played some. When he plays, Crawley becomes a wide receiver with Davis. Sometimes they use 3 and bring Brown back in the game. Purchase your copy of this game, shipping courtesy of UPS included. Call 933-6264. Ask for Metal Matt. Next week, we'll have a playoff game for you. Look in the Contra Costa Times for the coverage. We might see Pittsburgh next week, depending on what happens. Pierre makes a spin move, bounces outside, has a first down, has more, knocked out of bounds near the 25-yard line.
That is running talent right there. A lot of backs go down on that first contact, but instead he kept his feet, spun, got outside, got the first down. That's a real nice play. We're coming into a real critical sequence here. There's 2 minutes and 31 seconds to go here in the first half. If Antioch can manage to hold on and go into halftime down 9-0, the defensive stand here will be a huge boost for them at halftime, plus knowing that they are in this game. Now, if Pittsburgh manages to score, the whole equation changes.
And Antioch gets the ball to start the second half. First down from the 26. Pittsburgh on the move here inside of 3 minutes left in the half. Pfeiffer to throw. And Piper's hammered. And my only question is, who in the heck is Adrian Arias?
I think he's all league. If that's one of my answers.
I'd say Vic's writing that number down because he's got to make that decision this week.
So are the Pittsburgh quarterbacks because they're trying to figure out where he keeps coming from. So supposedly someone should be blocking him.
And he's a junior.
Pittsburgh calls a timeout. He's one of the few juniors. In fact, I noticed on our chart, all of the seniors, he was not listed as a starter.
Here's a replay of it. You could see
pressure. There's 7 guys coming. They had a double move on. He was going to do it looked like either an out and up or a post and corner, and so that needed time to develop. Antioch guessed right. That's what's got to happen when you're the underdog. You got to take some gambles, and they have to work out. Here you can see Arias just splits the gap because on the outside there, Pierre had to make a choice between blocking Dustin Gentry or blocking Arias. He's a young player. He picked the wrong guy. You picked the inside guy, not the outside guy, and that allowed Arias a straight shot to the quarterback, and that allowed the turf to become part
of the equation.
Yes. No, I already used the equation.
part of the
part of the quarterback's part of Craig Pfeiffer's uniform. That's what I was looking for.
His brother is Kyle the lineman. His sister Carrie played basketball at Pittsburgh a couple of years ago. Pitch to Blanche.
He's got some room.
Outside.
He is fast.
He is, and he's knocked out of bounds near the first down marker by Clarence Lee. We'll have to wait for this spot, Clay, as we're near the 2-minute mark.
He just explodes when he gets the ball. Those first 2 or 3 steps, he's just through the line of scrimmage. It'll be interesting to see where he winds up in college. Obviously, he's got the speed to be an effective runner. The question at that level is size and durability.
He has just some of the games this year against Miramani, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns, 159, 2 touchdowns, 220, 2 touchdowns. I mean, having one of the great seasons ever from a school that's had a couple of really good running backs.
This guy named John Henry Johnson's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Here's Pierre. Slipped and then is hit near the line of scrimmage. How about Ken Simonton just signed back with the 49ers? We
Absolutely.
mentioned him early.
Now, there was a time, I think, that the field actually affected the play. I think that he couldn't really cut. He slipped a little on the cut and couldn't make anything happen. We've only got 1:52 left. Clock is running.
But they give him the first down. Clay, last night in the BVAL, Clayton Valley, who should get a 3A playoff berth, beat Deer Valley 23-7. Deer Valley will probably get a lower.
But did they throw a pass?
That's a good question. I did see highlights, and it was basically a lot of Jason Podel left and Jason Podel right. Liberty beat Freedom in the Bell game, 24-21. De La Salle 135-21. And those are the scores in the BVAL. Later, we'll talk a little bit about the DFAL and EBAL. Of course, the big game last night, Amador came back to beat Foothill 21-17 and may have locked up the #1 seed in 4A. Clay and I will have that discussion in the second half. Pierre dragging a tackler and then hit from behind inside the 10-yard line. And you're right, Clay. If they score here, it could kind of seal it up. There's Antoine. It's actually spelled different than that, I believe, although with coaches and rosters, you never know. But it's Antoine Pierre, close enough for high school on Comcast. Throw into the end zone. Oh, Crowley, what a catch. But he's out of bounds.
And not only that, he pass interfered and got away with it. One reason he got up in the air so much is that he was using number 8, Clarence Lee, sort of had his hands on his shoulders just to get himself a little boost. There's the crowd here at Antioch. In the old days, there were a lot of people here. Now you can watch him coming down the sidelines. Lee has his back turned, and there, oh, get out of my way. I need to catch this ball. And, oh, that's a great catch.
And he came on right down on the line.
Only need 1 foot, but that was no feat.
3rd and 2 for the Pirates and a whistle.
Something happened.
Something happened on that play, and now Pittsburgh's going to be forced to call another play.
I think Antioch called a timeout.
They
yes,
did.
Antioch called a timeout with 57 seconds to go here in the half. Time is actually starting to be not really a factor because there aren't that many, they're not that far from the goal line at this point.
Next week we'll have a North Coast section playoff game for you. Some of the teams that we're looking at is Pittsburgh, obviously. Deer Valley should make the 4A playoffs. Monte Vista should be in the 4A playoffs. Foothill in the 3A. San Ramon, Clayton Valley, Alhambra, Las Lomas, and of course Campo Lindo should be the #1 seed in 2A. So check the times next week. We'll announce the game. There's Tim Manley down on the sidelines, a good friend of the program, and there's some of the Pittsburgh band down there on the sideline getting ready for halftime. But Clay, we'll talk a little bit about 4A and 3A. In the 2A, it's pretty clear cut. Campo's 1, O'Dowd's 2, Acalanes is 3, and
my alma mater right there.
The rest of them kind of whoever decides to show up and wants to be in.
Well, I'll tell you, Las Lomas could have something to say in this. They're a good team.
They're a 3A.
You're right. I always get confused.
They used to actually be 2A, but they picked up, and they had, of course, to deal with that tragedy over the week with the gas pipe exploding not far from Las Lomas High School over there.
Right, and they also had a problem with a very large party involving a lot of different people that caused some issues and a major story in the newspaper. But by the way, while we were doing that, an incomplete pass brings up 4th down. Antioch, this could be the play of the game right here in a lot of ways. Pittsburgh's going to take time out to think it over. We got a lot of strategic byplay going on here in these last couple minutes, you know?
Well, this is an interesting play right here. If Antioch can hold here, as you mentioned, they can just run out the clock, hopefully, for Antioch, and get out of here 9-0 down at halftime, which has to be a moral victory, even with the fact that they have very little offensive yardage, and they'll get the ball back. Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria once again over there on the Ignacio Valley Road at Oak Grove. If you not only pizza but good pasta and other specialties over there. Brendan Theaters, we mentioned the Polar Express with what is an animated Tom Hanks. Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason, with Renee Zellweger, who gained a large amount of weight and then continues to lose it in some shocking manner that only she can explain to us on Oprah next week. The Incredibles is out, also Ray, Alfie, and just a lot of good stuff out there getting ready for the holidays.
I got a question on, if you think about it, all of a sudden Pittsburgh's throwing the ball. They tried to throw there on 4th down. They tried to throw on 3rd down. They threw on 2nd down. Their running game has been doing it for them. Their passing game's been struggling, but Vic Alley's been calling for the pass. Hey, they are ahead 9-0, but you'd think they'd like to get another touchdown right here. And the ground has been their friend so far today.
The ball's at the 10, 4th down, big play. Play action, Piper to throw, throws, has a receiver. It's Fafidi actually, touchdown. So Fafidi comes out of the backfield, catches a pass in the flat, makes a move on the wet field, and goes in to score a 10-yard pass that was almost all rack yardage from number 34, a great linebacker, and on that play, a great receiver, Saka Fafidi. Touchdown, it's 15-0 Pittsburgh.
Well, and that's why Vic Galley's the coach and I'm not, because he's stuck in the air and gets a nice play. Brian Louise slipped a little bit. I don't know whether you can blame that on the field. Nice pass right on the money and a nice run, and you got the touchdown you really needed to have with 45 seconds to go. Now, this is a bit of a surprise. They're going to kick the extra point here and go for 1. A lot of people might say, hey, you should go for 2 here and get it up to 17 rather than stuck on 16.
I think this is just practice for further mud bowls, if there are any in their future, although most
Field
of the
turf.
games that Pittsburgh's going to see in the next couple weeks are going to be on field turf or AstroTurf. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 16-0. Let's take another look at it. You can see the thing about these plays, remember I said earlier, maybe the flat's open, maybe a screen pass, because if you can get the pass out there, once you turn, that defender coming up to make the play has to be able to stop, and here he's just able to make a move. Now watch, misses a tackle, goes right in.
And one thing you also noticed is that Pfeiffer had a lot of time. He wasn't wearing a lineman when he tried to release the ball. So he has time to set up. He's back foot is set.
Did you see Blanche in the mud going backwards?
And a nice run, nice play. That's a nice athletic play. 45 seconds to go, 16-0. Now, here Antioch's going to receive this kick. Most likely, they're just going to settle for this. Not try to come out and throw the ball or do anything exciting. It wouldn't mind a 100-yard kickoff return or something like that.
I don't think they would refuse that.
Right. And by the way, if you ever had a trick play on a kickoff return, now is the time to run it.
So it's 16-0 Pirates.
We were mentioning Tim Galley, who coached at Antioch, and I remember one year they had
and he's now the principal at Pittsburgh.
Now the principal of Pittsburgh. One year they started the game on the kickoff. All 4 guys in the back got together in a little huddle and spread out. One of them had the ball, and the other 3 were decoys. It looked really cool, but it went for about 6 yards.
But it looked cool.
It looked cool.
Sometimes it's as the great Billy Crystal used to say on Saturday Night. It's not how you feel, darling. It's how you look. You know, you look marvelous, and that's the same point I'm sure he was using there. That's a heck of a kick for Hurtado. And Robinson fumbles it into the end zone. It's a touchback, and so Antioch at this point just wants to get out of here. Down 16-0. They will get the ball to start the second half of play. So, but I'll give Antioch credit. They've really hung tough, and a number of great defensive plays. I've seen Pittsburgh twice, Clay, and read about them the other 7 weeks. I'd have to say, other than last week, no one's really handled that running game the way that Antioch has so far.
Rivalry games, rivalry games, rivalry games. You simply cannot underestimate the importance of a game like this one. Not only that, you have a whole season worth of scouting. The first couple of games, the first 2 or 3 games, people are putting stuff in, they're taking stuff out. You know what these kids are going to do. You know what they're going to go, where they're going to cut. A lot of high school running backs only cut back in one direction, for example. And you start to know that stuff.
You can tell which gap is the one that you, after watching it 9 times, which is the gap to take or which angle to take to the ball. And Antioch's really made a lot of nice plays along those lines here in the first half. 45 seconds to go. The handoff. And it's just a big old scrum there as Robinson is hit by McLean. You can always tell when it's McLean or Felice because of the mound of hair coming out of the helmet. It's very easy to tell. It's not so easy to tell when it's like one of the other guys who doesn't have the big mound of hair if you can't see the number. But it's not too bad today. You know, Vic said I'm not wearing white, not on this field.
Well, you notice how there's a lot of standing up in the piles. We've had a lot of that. That's because nobody wants to fall down.
Yeah, it doesn't look good to be muddy
right. You
on
don't want to fall into the mud. Now, you know, they're just going to let the clock run out here. So we'll wind it down here to the half, 16-0. Could have been a lot worse for Antioch if they make one more play. They'd go in 9-0, down just a. In fact, they're still only down 2 scores, Dan.
Absolutely, 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points. 16-0 Pittsburgh. There's Coach Anthony as he takes his final halftime of his career with the Antioch Panthers. We'll be back with stats and highlights after this on Comcast.
It doesn't matter what sport you play. It doesn't matter what position you play. It doesn't matter whether you're turning pro or just starting out. It doesn't even matter how old you are. If you want to maximize your potential, you need Velocity Sports Performance. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Tonight's Comcast Game of the Week is made possible by a generous donation from the dentistry offices of Lee Keller, Daniel Burke, and Richard Janis DDS. Lee Keller, Richard Janis, and Daniel Burke have been serving East County for years with a personal commitment to their clients in uncompromising dental care with an atmosphere of comfort and experience. With state-of-the-art sterilization technique and equipment, their staff of highly trained professionals will make your every visit one you'll look forward to in the future. That's Lee Keller, Richard Janis, and Daniel Burke, DDS, and staff in Antioch. The 19th Hole Casino at West Tregallis Road. Established in 1967, the 19th Hole has been completely renovated. Open 7 days a week, they feature Texas Hold'em, No Bust 21 Blackjack, Low Ball, High-Low Split, Pai Gow, and provide Keno and lottery sales. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, beginning at 5:30 p.m., is a no-limit Texas Hold'em shootout with winner take all. Friday and Saturday night is karaoke at 9 p.m., and Sunday 9 a.m. is NFL football on all 14 TVs. The 19th Hole behind the post office in Antioch. Make big messes no longer a problem. Experience the difference in a real professional. Randy's Carpet Care. Improve your indoor living to a clean, healthy environment. IICRC certified master cleaning specialist in carpet, upholstery, odor control, and stain removal. Owner-operator, family-friendly. Call today to reserve your spot. That's Randy's Carpet Care. We exist to serve you. Call 925-518-1088. Phil and Rob's Barbershop, across from Celia's Mexican Food on G Street in Antioch. With over 10 years experience, let Phil and Rob make your next haircut the right haircut. Crew cuts, flat tops, razor fades, and more. That's Phil and Rob's Barbershop at 910 G Street in Antioch. Bridgehead Self-Storage of Antioch, located behind Kmart off Highway 4 and East 18th Street. Bridgehead Self-Storage has from 5'6" to 10 by 40 foot 24-hour security units for those extra things you just can't fit in the garage anymore. They also have packing and moving supplies. Boat and RV storage is also available. Call 753-1199. Rock Bottom Records in Antioch. They buy and sell used DVDs and CDs 7 days a week. Listen to any compact disc in the store in one of their in-store listening stations. Special order millions of disc or DVDs on the Muse in our in-store computer that can find just about any release on Earth. T-shirts, posters, blacklight, stickers, and one of the biggest selections of cassettes anywhere. This year celebrating our 25th year anniversary. Rock Bottom Records at 1890 A Street in Antioch. Antioch Opticians. Glasses and contact lenses in the Rayleigh's Shopping Center on Lone Tree Way in Antioch. Since 1973, Antioch Opticians has carried over 3,000 frames to meet your special needs and repair broken frames. They have their own in-house laboratory for fast, accurate service. 1-hour service in most cases. That's Antioch Opticians, 3714 Lone Tree Way in Antioch. The New Mecca Cafe on Railroad Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh. Eat in or order it to go. Guillermo and his crew cook with pride. State Farm agent Roger Fernando, located in the Crow Canyon Commons Shopping Center in San Ramon. When a coach understands the player's strengths, developing a winning strategy is easy. That's also true with State Farm agent Roger Fernando. Roger knows your insurance and financial situation isn't exactly like anyone else's. But like a great coach, Roger and his team of professionals create a strategy to meet your individual needs. See State Farm agent Roger Fernando and his team at 3211A Crow Canyon Place in San Ramon. Thanks again to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week.
What are you doing? Who said that? Jumpin' Jehoshaphat, a giant oil filter that talks. I'm framing the filter, and what do you think you're doing with my child?
It's your child? I didn't know he was your kid.
Well, it is, and he's a she.
Oh, yeah? Well, what should I do with her?
Do the right thing. Recycle your used oil and filter. Even after draining, a used oil filter contains about 1/4 cup of oil. If placed in the garbage, that oil will leak into the ground and then into landfills, polluting the soil, and someday the water supply. Seal your filter in a strong Ziploc bag and take it to a certified used oil and filter collection center. Or if your city has curbside used oil and filter recycling, just put it on the curb with the rest of recyclable items. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
Great Mexican food, home of the famous margarita, and fun and food in a festive environment. That's Celia's of Antioch. For over 30 years, Celia's has served specialties like fajita supreme, camarones a la ranchera, and other great Mexican food that has brought people from around the area to eat. Every Thursday night is live music from Trio and Saturday night mariachis. That's Celia's of Antioch for great Mexican food.
Hi, I'm Rocco Bialy, and this is my family.
I'm Dante. I'm Dominic. And I'm Nina.
For the past 5 years, Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria has been the proud sponsor of the Comcast High School Game of the Week. As a neighborhood restaurant, being part of our community has been very important to my family and staff. I'd like to personally invite you to become part of our family. Great pizza, great pasta, and great people. Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria, a part of your community.
Back at Antioch High School, Pittsburgh 8-1 on the season, leads Antioch 16-0 in Ferris Anthony's last game as the Panthers head coach, and the Pirate marching band is down on the field. But we're going to take a look at some of the highlights from the first half before we take a look at the bands.
This is the first drive, and this is really the biggest play of the game in some ways. You thought this was the second play from scrimmage, if I'm not mistaken, that, oh boy, this was just going to be a rout. Here comes Antoine Pierre. This is the next play from scrimmage, if I'm not mistaken. Touchdown. There you go. And all of a sudden you're thinking, oh man, it's going to be 80-0 at halftime.
That's a 16-yard run for Pierre.
But that was it. And this was another difficult play. I mean, if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had been back there, that might have been all right. But Anthony Jeffrey isn't quite that tall, so you got to Jeff Waugh. My apologies. That's an obvious safety. Here's the last highlight. It's a little flat pass. You notice that Kyle Pfeiffer has some time here. Manages to get the ball out into the flat. Fafiti makes a cut. Touchdown.
16-0 Pittsburgh. Here's the statistics, and they're uglier than the Warriors, and I don't mean Ignacio Valley. Here's the, by comparison, Antioch has -4 total yards.
-4.
And Pittsburgh only 109. Now, who would have thought that?
Right. Who would have thought you'd have 105 yards in total offense combined between both teams at halftime, and there'd be no turnovers.
And no turnovers in the Mud Bowl.
In the Mud Bowl, and both of these teams have had turnover problems. You figure, oh, Pittsburgh should have had, 200 yards. Antioch probably have 80. Each team turn the ball over a couple times. Not quite.
Individually, Robinson 17 yards rushing. He's over 1,000 for the year, but that's it for Antioch. No pass completions at all. Blanche has 66 yards, Pierre 44, and a touchdown. Crowley's 2 of 3 for 9 yards. Pfeiffer the 1 completion to Fafiti for the touchdown. Antioch's band will take the field, but we're going to head out of here for our last break, and we'll be back with the third quarter after this on Comcast.
What is a coach? A teacher, a motivator, a leader, the person who sees your athletic potential and maximizes it, regardless of the sport. At Velocity Sports Performance, you train with a highly qualified coach every time you train. Your coach makes you work hard, but your coach makes you a better athlete. Train with a coach who knows. Velocity Sports Performance. Maximize your potential. We guarantee it.
Tonight's Comcast Game of the Week is made possible by a generous donation from Battalia's Italian Restaurant, Deli and Catering. Delicious pasta, meatballs, Parmesan dishes, and more. Specialty sandwiches like roasted eggplant, cucciadatis, and other traditional cookies. And don't forget the cannolis. Family owned and operated, that's Battalia's, Antioch's oldest Italian restaurant at 3100 Contra Loma Boulevard in the Save Mart Shopping Center. S&S Import Service on 10th Street, specializing in your foreign car. State-of-the-art tools and equipment with friendly and helpful service. Let Randy and Mike take care of your auto repair needs. S&S will also take your used oil, caring for our community. S&S Import Service at 806 West 10th Street in Antioch. Golf and Games Family Fun Center of Antioch. Under new ownership, Golf and Games has it all. A miniature golf course with many challenging holes, hard and softball batting cages with several speeds, a giant arcade with all the newest games, go-karts, pool tables, snack bar, and prize station for those big-ticket winners. The perfect place for birthday parties and events. That's Golf and Games Family Fun Center at 501 Summersville Road in Antioch. RSC Rental Service Corporation in Martinez. RSC offers a wide variety of equipment specific to the petrochemical industry, as well as to the general contractor and homeowner. We deliver straight to the site and have a fully trained staff of mechanics and office personnel to fit every need. That's Rental Service Corporation, 4030 Pacheco Boulevard in Martinez. Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh, featuring 14 screens of movie magic. All theaters have Lucasfilm THX digital sound systems and stadium-style seating. The prize wheel spins weekly with great prizes. The Prize Patrol promotional events and other activities happen monthly with great giveaways and prizes. Check out the Brendan Theater website for more information and great savings ideas. Your favorite films in a great environment. All at the Brendan Theaters of Concord and Pittsburgh. Enjoy the movie. Mellows Heating, Air Conditioning, and Sheet Metal, serving the greater East County and beyond. Residential, commercial, and industrial, keeping the East Bay comfortable for over 28 years. Let their helpful, courteous sales staff help you with all your air and heating needs. That's Mellows, 1241 Main Street in Oakley. Thanks again to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week. Take advantage today with rates at record lows. Charter Funding Incorporated of Antioch is your local mortgage broker whose commitment is service with integrity. Charter Funding Incorporated works with many lenders to find the best program to fit your needs. First-time home buyers, 100% financing, no down payment, and interest only. No one is left out. Whether it's a rate reduction, cash out, new purchase, good or bad credit, let the professionals at Charter Funding Incorporated handle all your loan details. Call us today at 776-1700.
Back at Antioch High School, and we're going to send it down to the field and take a look at the Antioch Marching Band. Marching band out here at halftime. Both bands performed, and now I guess we're going to have a little dueling drum squad.
A drum off.
Yes, which is what happened when Pete Best left the Beatles, and Ringo Starr was named the drummer.
Well, we're also going to have the teams. We can see out in the distance there, we can see Pittsburgh getting loose. We're not exactly sure. This is sort of a new one on us. We haven't seen this one before. The Glockenspiel is making a late entrance. There's a look at the Antioch.
Glockenspiel.
There we go.
Dave Jackson used to play the Glockenspiel.
Okay, Antioch's got him outnumbered, but Pittsburgh is.
If Antioch brings out a harp, they win. You know, Clay, the drum solo was invented back in the 60s for a specific reason, and not the one that we're seeing it here for today.
That's exactly right, Dan.
For those of you who remember, that was back in the day of, let's just say, selective self-medication. So the other members of the band could partake, the drum solo would happen, and then I don't necessarily think that that's happening here today.
I can remember seeing Cream, a band that long before the day of most anyone, certainly out on the field, with Eric Clapton on guitar, Jack Bruce on bass, and Ginger Baker on drums.
On lead drums.
On lead drums, many a time. 20-minute solos each, which gave the other two members 40 minutes to do whatever it was that they felt necessary at the time.
There's the Pittsburgh squad, and I have some big news for you.
Yes.
Cream is reuniting next year.
Cream is, I thought Ginger Baker was dead.
No, Ginger Baker's still alive. They're going to play a week of shows at London's Royal Albert Hall where they perform their finale, and the rumor is if that goes well, perhaps an American tour for Cream 36 years after they broke up.
Did they come out in wheelchairs?
Ginger Baker is led to the stage on a wheelchair.
Right.
Dave Jackson will be led into the arena in a wheelchair.
Hey, they still got the moves.
See, Antioch has more instruments.
They have more instruments, but there's the glockenspiel.
This sounds like a Neil Peart drum solo from Rush.
As long as Geddy Lee doesn't start to sing, everything will be okay. Of course, none of the players have any idea who we're talking about.
Some do. Okay, they might have an occasion.
Well,
they don't do drum solos in hip hop.
In fact, I think we've got two glockenspiels out there. Actually, I stand corrected. I don't think those are vibes. I don't think we have any glockenspiels, which I feel sort of let down because of that.
What is the little thing with the
glockenspiel is the one,
someone just dropped their glockenspiel.
That's right.
So, there's no turnovers in the game, but the Antioch Drum Corps has dropped the glockenspiel.
And the drum major, throwing the Pittsburgh flag into the ground. We need to get a shot of that. Yes, sir. There it is.
I don't know if Antioch's winning, but they certainly have played longer than Pittsburgh.
Well, they're the home team. All right. All right, here we go. Solo, or duet, I should say. This is certainly new. I do not recall ever seeing this before. Now, I did not see the movie Drumline. Maybe it comes from that.
That's a good point. Or it comes from Mickey Hart's drum school over in Sausalito.
Oh, here we go.
I hate to say it, Clay, but this is about the most exciting part of the game so far.
I've always loved. Field's getting a little excited. As I mentioned earlier, it's a little bit of a disappointment for me. I haven't seen so many of these games when this field was packed, no matter what was going on. And just, and Pittsburgh people are here because they're winning, but Antioch side just isn't as full as it has been back in the day.
You couldn't get into this game in the heyday of the Big Little.
No, you can see a lot of empty seats up there, and of course it always does, even at the high school level. It comes down to winning. You need You need to be able to win to draw the fans, and hopefully Antioch will get it back.
We're going to step out for 30 seconds, and we'll be back with the third quarter from Antioch, 16-0 Pittsburgh at halftime.
Tonight's game of the week is made possible by the new and exciting Puerto Rican El Coqui restaurant, featuring the finest of this island's cuisine. Come in and experience the unique flavors that earned them a 4-star rating by the Contra Costa Times, such as Puerto Rican steak, pork chops, chicken, and pastales, their famous mofongo, seafood, and the house specialty, paella. Available for banquets, catering, and holiday parties, that's El Coqui at 509 West 2nd Street near the Campanile Theater in downtown Antioch. Thanks again from the Comcast Game of the Week.
Back at Antioch High School, I want to remind everyone out here, Dave Jackson, our statistician, does a great job with the West Coast Jamboree. Over 100 teams coming to Contra Costa County, including Clay Callum's Bentley Phoenix. My goodness gracious, with 8 players this year, I hear.
We're up to 13, Dan.
13 players this year on the Bentley Phoenix, and they'll be playing in that tournament. Now, of course, there's 3 ranked in the top 25, 17 teams ranked in the top 25 in the state, and 8 teams coming from out of state. Games all over Contra Costa County. Should be a great time. In just a second here, we'll have the third quarter, and we'll be ready to send it down to Joey shortly. He's got Coach Ferris Anthony. Let's send it down to Joey Acuna.
Got a little confusion there. So we're not quite getting there yet, but we've got them ready. Hopefully we'll get. There we go.
Thanks, Dan. I'm standing here next to Coach Anthony for the Panthers. Coach, what does your team need to do in order to come back? You're down 16-0.
Playing a great game so far. They're playing with a lot of heart, a lot of emotion. We've got to do like we did with that one drive, keep the ball control, break through the red zone and get some points on the board. Defense is keeping us in this game, but, offense had a nice long drive there, and keep the ball away from them. And let's put some points on the board and then play their hearts out.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Back to you.
There's Coach Anthony, a good friend, as we mentioned, who's coaching his last game here at Antioch High School, his 9th season. Here's the BVL standings. Pittsburgh wins the championship with their record of 5-0. They win tonight. Obviously, they'd be 6-0 in league play. Deer Valley finished in second at 4-2. Lost to Clayton last night. Freedom fell to 3-3. Now, interestingly enough, Clay, we'll talk about the 3A playoffs. This is an interesting scenario, but it actually plays out pretty easily. Freedom and Ignacio, as you look at the overall now, Freedom and Ignacio both are basically what you'd say 5-4 because they both lost to De La Salle. But Freedom beat Ignacio, and they're 5-5, and they should be considered for the last seed, and Freedom should get it.
Head-to-head, when you get in those committee meetings at North Coast Section, it's the simplest thing for the committee members to do is look at head-to-head. You don't have to think about it. You just make the decision right there. So, and that's right. I mean, as a coach and you as a player, I mean, if you play in a game and you get beat, there's nothing to say.
Absolutely.
They're better. They're better. That's why you play the game. You'd much rather have it that way than have some committee member vote, well, actually, you beat Fort Bragg by 25, and they beat Hoopa Valley by 15, and we're going with the Fort Bragg victory.
You can't use that criteria this year, because here's some great strings for you. De La Salle 62, Freedom 15. Clayton Valley 17, De La Salle 17. Freedom 17, Clayton Valley 16. Now, you explain that. Can't use that criteria this year. It's the strings are woundly tight, or tightly wound.
Close enough.
Just like me.
Yes, yes, indeed. You shouldn't have had that 4th Dr. Pepper.
Here comes Antioch back onto the field through the sign. That's always now. That's what started the riot in '74. Here's the story. The Pittsburgh cheerleaders ran through the Antioch sign.
Oh, okay.
Massive brawl, could have been televised on a Vince McMahon pay-per-view. Cheerleaders handcuffed to the railings along with a number of residents, and from that point on, day games at DVC for the next couple of years, folks.
Yes, indeed. There is a storied past to this rivalry, and it is truly one of the great rivalries, not only in Northern California, but in California and across the country. High school, the big little game, which begins the second half. Onside kick for Pittsburgh.
And
they got
Pittsburgh
it.
has a chance at this. Let's look at the, they're pointing to the Pittsburgh side.
An Antioch player made a dive right away to try to get the ball, and then it sort of squirted out of there. But it looked like to me that the Pirates were the ones who landed on the ball. Now, you would have expected Antioch to be the one going for the trick play. But there's another reason that Vic Galley might have done that. You're thinking, oh, it's 16-0. What are you trying to do? Rub it in. He just wants those opponents in postseason to start thinking about that. They're going to have to worry about that play. And we got an injured player, too. We still don't know who has the ball.
Well, Tyree Moffitt's holding it, but that sometimes doesn't play in the awarding of the ball. I think Pittsburgh has it. There's a Pittsburgh player injured. An Antioch player looked like he was injured.
Illegal touching, so we are gonna kick this one again, I think, or Antioch's gonna get the ball at the spot of the first touch, even though Pittsburgh wound up with the ball. That signal meant that they touched the ball too early from Dan Leary.
Dan
Leary.
And Rodney Lacroix was the injured Pirate, and he's up. So let's wait to see what happens here. Clay, while we have an opportunity, just some other scores from
Antioch's
last night.
ball.
Monte Vista won their game against California. We mentioned Amador. San Ramon, this is a big game in 3A, beat Arroyo 27-20, which should give San Ramon the #1 seed tomorrow, even though Arroyo will have a better record because San Ramon's 2 losses are to 4A teams.
And again, head to head.
Yes.
Just makes it simple. I sit in the committee, I don't have to think.
Wouldn't that be the solution pretty much for that committee anyway? Oh, no, we can't say
you don't
that
want to say
about
that,
them.
Dan.
I'm
That's
just
not good.
teasing. You set me up for that one. Ball at the 48. Antioch does get it here. And Robinson through the muck and the guck, and he runs out of luck.
That's good. I like that one, Dan. You know, the other thing is he's running out of 1,000 yards.
Exactly.
He was over 1,000 yards there for a while, but so far he's been hasn't been going in the right direction. They had a little luck running that sweep in the first half to this side. They had probably their 2 or 3 best rushing gains on that exact play, but they didn't. The Pirates probably made a little bit of an adjustment at halftime. That was what, a 2-3 yard loss.
So 2nd and 13. This is a big opportunity for Antioch after that onside kick went south for Pittsburgh real quickly.
Actually, it went north, Dan.
It actually went east. But Arroyo throws Gentry out of the backfield, down the sideline. It's knocked out of bounds by Tino Felice. A gain of about 4 here. It'll bring up 3rd down. And now Arroyos is hurt.
Arroyos is hurt, and he's in pain.
And he got hit late, or right as he threw it.
It's an interest.
Wonder if
he
we
might
have
not be as seriously hurt. No, we can't really see it. We got a shot of we got a shot of Gentry coming into our cameraman, who may also have been hurt, but not quite as seriously as Arroyos. No, it looks like it's a leg injury. I'm thinking it looks like the left knee. Okay, here we go. We might be able to get a look at it. He's going to get hit from the weak side. Yeah, and it looks like maybe he got his left knee got caught up there. And that's a tough play. The defensive lineman is falling. The tackle comes at the knee. They're not trying to hurt anybody, but sometimes you just land on the wrong spot, and the knee is not designed to take that kind of a twist. So now you've seen the Panthers, so you've probably got a better idea of who they're going to bring in as their 2nd-string quarterback. Looks like number 7 is warming up. Aaron Hall
is taking some snaps. Arroyos is up, but I think he has to sit for 1 play. Is that the rule in high school?
I believe it is. If you come out on the field, I know it is in basketball that if you come out on the court, then you have to take the player out. Ferris Anthony's talking it over with Tony. Looks like he's talking it over with Tony Gisletta.
It was a very close to a dangerous hit, though, on Arroyos' knee there. But they actually marked that a little bit farther up the field, Clay, close to the 41-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and about 4 for Antioch. Early in the 3rd quarter, all kinds of weirdness today. The Mud Bowl out here, the water, which Clay thinks was a Ferris Anthony late night, Friday night hose party.
And
the drum battle that went on at halftime. So we were having a crazy one out here. It always is for the Pittsburgh-Antioch game. It's actually Yaloa who's the backup quarterback, and Robinson has a 1st down. Derek Davis, who's playing in the defensive secondary now for Pittsburgh, makes the tackle. The ball spotted near the 35. Here's a replay.
This is a nice little run. This is exactly what you need, a little trap play. Nice cutback by Robinson. Busts up there, gets himself a 1st down. Big play. I'll tell you, the Panthers come down here and score, and they go for 2 and make it. They're down by 1. They're 1 possession back. Here you can see him again, making that nice little cut, standing in there to make the tackle Derek Davis.
Arroyos is back in the ball game. Deep handoff, Robinson, and Robinson gang tackled by Pierre, Felice, and Fafiti. Actually, Pasalakwa was there as well.
It's one thing you've seen a lot more of the last couple of years. Arroyos, they come over to the sidelines to actually get the play from the coach rather than having somebody signal in or run it in. Used to have players running into the field with the plays. And now the quarterback, they just eliminated the middleman. He just runs over to the coach and has him tell him what to do.
Arroyos has only completed 1 pass today for Antioch. 1 pass for the 10 yards to Gentry. No gain on first down. Second down, handoff, Robinson. Trying to find a hole.
Definitely working that right side as best they can.
And he was hit by just about everyone in orange on that play, Clay.
It's one of the things about being a good running back. If you're a bad running back, the first guy hits you and you go down. If you're a better running back, the first guy misses you and the linebacker gets about an 8-yard head start at you and he hits you. And now, if you make the linebacker miss you, then the safety who's got a 15-yard running start just comes across and drills you. So the better you are as a runner, the harder you get hit.
I always thought safety was the best position to play because you don't get a lot of blame. They always blame the cornerbacks.
Right.
The safety only, he should have helped.
Right.
But he should have been there. He just should have helped. And and then you get to like level guys and hit them, and it's all legal. Sounds like a lot of fun. I just unfortunately never had the speed to play much more than tight end or defensive end.
Or tackle. Somebody's calling timeout. No, something's wrong here. Oh, the ball is muddy. So we got the ball boy running on, bringing in the new ball. That's a tough job when you're on the sidelines. You're trying to keep the balls dry in a muddy field like this. Each team has 2 or 3 balls that they like to use during a game, and they tend to rotate back and forth with towels. Ferris Hansen just threw the one they took out of the game.
Third
Arroyos.
game, and he throws for Hall. It's incomplete. Antioch's passing game just has not clicked at all today.
No, and they have not been a great passing team during the season. Arroyos has decent stats, 69 of 155. He's thrown for 1,000 yards, but 9 touchdowns. Of course, it's a little different playing these guys than playing some of the teams that Antioch has played during the course of the season.
Looks like Antioch's going to go for it, Clay. The ball's at the 33-yard line.
And now we've got a little delay in play again. Tony just let us stepping over the ball. Now he's back. Now I think we're good to go. One-on-one coverage at the top of the field. Arroyos though looking to his right. Throws it into a crowd, and it's intercepted by, if he gets outside, if he can outrun that, if he outruns Gentry, penalty flag late, penalty flag here. We're going to bring this back for, the interception's going to count, but we got an illegal block, I think, and that's going to move the ball back to around the 15 or the 20-yard line where they'll start.
That was ill-advised, that pass. Since you did play-by-play, I'm going to do color.
Sure.
That was very ill-advised. Look at all the orange uniforms. There are 4 guys. And Pierre just ran right under it and made the interception. First turnover of the ball game. Good return, though, and then, of course, Gentry makes the tackle, but Pittsburgh's going to start deep in their own territory, Clay, here. But Antioch, I just don't know how they're going to score.
No.
Send it down to Joey Acuna with a special guest.
Thanks, Dan. We're here with the head cheerleaders for the Pirates, starting off with who?
Melissa Ignacio.
Dorothy Honey.
Gina Couchman.
And Lisa Edelstein.
Now, somebody here is the homecoming queen. Who is it?
I am guilty.
All right, what would you guys like to say to the Pirates?
We're #1. Good job. It was a really, really good season. We're so proud of you guys. You guys look good.
We love you guys.
You look good out there.
Good luck in playoffs. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Pfeiffer's still in at quarterback,
yeah,
Dan.
Throws to Davis, a gain of 7. You know the thing I've learned about Joey over the years, why he's so effective? He doesn't learn anything before the game. He doesn't even learn the names. He just brings the people up. Who are you? I love it. He's the greatest.
Well, yeah, I think that's really a good move. I mean, that way you don't have to worry about mispronouncing it or anything like that.
That's my biggest thing. People call and say, can't you pronounce? Joey, you don't have to worry about. What's your name?
There you go. Can we set that up somehow? Greg Piper, though, the quarterback, that's
Hands off to Blanche, and there's a maybe a short game. Well,
that's an interesting move. Now, I wonder if Vic is thinking this is the direction he's going to go in the playoffs. Why wouldn't he be given Crowley the opportunity to stay sharp? It's a very interesting call. Of course, maybe he's just looking ahead into next year. He wanted to get him some reps because he figures he's probably not going to play in the playoffs. And if he does, now he will have had some time and will be able to step in a little bit.
3rd and a long 1 for Pittsburgh. There's Blanche's numbers on the day, 68 yards, 11 carries.
He would have had more, except he stepped out of bounds on that one run.
And Piper falls. I think he didn't hit down with his knee, and it's incomplete.
You could see Dan Leary saying, no, he put his hand down. So still an incomplete pass. We'll get a chance to look at it, but Leary's right there. Now you see the slip, his hand goes down. Nope, his knee never hit. That's a good call. And the pass is incomplete. It looked like that was right in the hands of Don Smith.
Oh, Pittsburgh's going to go for it here.
4th down. Now this is a very interesting call. They may try a hard count just to draw him offside. See if they'll work on that. Nope, they're going to go straight ahead, and
it's going to depend on the spot. I don't know, Clay.
I think he gave him.
I think
boy,
it's short.
It's very close.
It's
very close.
Short.
Dan, I as much as I hate to do this, I agree with you.
Oh my goodness gracious, that's got to be the first time ever in the history of Comcast and Viacom and AT&T and all the other companies we've worked for here.
How many is that now?
Well, I think it was 3. I think it went from Viacom in the old days. We used to do them live to AT&T to Comcast. I don't know if we were ever anything else in there in the in-between.
They held him. What a huge,
told you.
What a huge play.
And don't forget, the Comcast Game of the Week can only be seen on Comcast Cable.
But of course, the only way you would know that is if you're watching Comcast already. So we have 1st and 10.
Wow.
What an interesting play. Number 1, what a great play by Antioch. Number 2, what an interesting call by Vic Galley. And they must have felt pretty confident that they could get that yard. He asked his offensive line to step up, and they couldn't. They didn't rise to the challenge this time, at least.
1st down. Arroyo's play action.
Big trouble.
Yeah. See, that's another thing, too. Vic must think, too, that I don't really think they can score on us.
And the other thing is they're going backwards. Are they in positive yardage yet? No, they're still negative. So if Vic goes off the stats when Antioch has the ball, they're going to go backwards.
Exactly. So we get the ball at the 35 after they have 4 plays. So a loss of 9 on the play. There's Arroyos. And Arroyos' uniform play, I've been waiting to use this one, is dirtier than a party at R. Kelly's house.
Hey, there you go.
How's that?
I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Many of our audience may not know who R. Kelly is, but look it up.
They don't know who
look it up on
Cream
the
is.
internet.
They don't know who Geddy Lee is. They better know who R. Kelly is. 2nd down.
Well, Arroyo shows a pretty good arm on that play.
Unfortunately, the ball was about 20 yards over the head of Ulloa. So it's just Antioch is, you can just see defensively
they're fine.
They're playing a very good game, but offensively they're just challenged. Pittsburgh's defense is just a little bit too quicker. I mentioned Ricky Ulloa, the father of Ricky Ulloa. He's sitting right below us. I think he's actually wearing his old jersey that he still has from 1976. He graduated here. His wife graduated with my wife, Selena, so we see each other at parties and reunions and get-togethers.
Arroyos, by the way, is minus 30 yards. He's been sacked 4 times. And since he's only completed 1 pass, I mean, it's so tough. They just can't seem to get anything going. The Pittsburgh defense is really able to pretty much dictate things at the line of scrimmage and everywhere else. He's going to give it another shot here. A lot of time.
Oh, look at number 84. Oh, Floyd Jones was wide
There was a defensive mistake, and the tight end slipped out into the flat, but Arroyos, there was a lot of pressure from the right side. Not a lot of pressure, but there were guys on the right side. He just never got a look at him. We'll see. You can see he's looking straight down the field. He feels he has a good chance to make this pass, but
look at Jones.
Jones is all alone over here, and that could have been a game-turning play because if he gets the ball and goes into the end zone, it could be 16-8. Instead, Pittsburgh takes over.
Well,
We're getting some salacious suggestions from the truck now that unfortunately cannot go out over the air, but we find them quite amusing.
Yes.
If you want to find out, contact Metal Matt, and he'll tell you all
on
the
the
good
website.
ones.
Fourth down, Antioch will punt. Jeff Waugh. And another high
bad snap.
This is going to be.
He might be able to get the punt off. No, we'll check that. He's going to throw the pass.
Well, at least they go back to the line of scrimmage anyway, Clay, after
That's
that.
right.
This one has been nuttier than a Mr. Goodbar.
Okay, we got a replay. We're just going to pretend that one didn't happen, Dan. You were doing good up till then. Just another high snap. Long snapper's job is the thankless one. An even more thankless job at this point belongs to Anthony Jeffois, who has to run around and try to make something out of nothing.
That play looked like Halloween in Detroit.
Halloween in Detroit.
That was a good one. See, Dave Jackson got that, kind of crazy riots, orange and black running after. Come on. First down.
I came back for that.
Blanche outside and knocked out of bounds on the far sideline by number 4 for Antioch, Robinson, playing both ways today.
Is it just me, Dan, or is every play in this game being run at the far side of the field?
I think it's being ran to the dry side of the field is what Pittsburgh is actually trying to do, Clay.
Right.
I think the footing on that side is better, and I think they're just going to work it. I mean, this game, you wish it had been played under better conditions. Let's take a look at some of the great friends of the program. Rock Bottom Records, I mentioned U2. If you haven't heard the new U2 song, you probably haven't been alive for the past 3 weeks. The New Mecca Cafe, Burke, Janice, and Keller Doctors of Dentistry, Images of 3 Hair Salon, Randy's Carpet Care, and El Coqui Puerto Rican cuisine. Second down. Pfeiffer into the flat to Davis, makes a nice catch, a move outside, straight arm, and still on his feet. Oh, and then he is just leveled by number 40 for Antioch, David Simmons, at about the 40. Actually, they're going to spot him out of bounds near the 44.
Yes, just a little swing pass. This actually might be a lateral. They'll probably call it a pass. So he comes down the sidelines, uses his speed, makes a nice little move. But he may be thinking, well, maybe I really didn't want to make that move because, ooh, right there. Just sort of, free chiropractic adjustment right there.
I think we've had chiropractic friends of the program. And after that play, you might want to seek some of their help.
Now, as Pittsburgh marches down the field, and they do seem to be pretty much in control of this game, the real question emerges as to who's going to be the number 1 seed in the 4A playoffs.
We'll get to that in the swing pass to Blanche.
Great catch by Blanche.
Yeah, he made a nice adjustment. Nice move. Spins out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
Flag.
Late penalty flag.
This is a great play. This is the kind of play that's going to get Derek Blanche playing at a big-time program. Yeah, we know he can run the ball, but always the question is, can you catch the ball coming out of the backfield? And he makes a tremendous adjustment on that ball. It's thrown behind him, and not only does he catch the ball, then he makes a quick move and another quick move. Spins here, picks up another few yards. But there'll be another penalty against the Pirates, moving them back in the wrong direction.
I believe this is an illegal block, Clay, and it'll mark them all the way back to the 39-yard line.
But
First down.
They will get credit for the first down.
But Pittsburgh controlling the ball now here with 5:49 to go, third quarter.
Let me just make this clear. It is still first down because you're repeating the down after the penalty. You mark the penalty from the spot of the foul, so it's actually 1st and 5.
That's a very good point. Thank you. The ball's at the 40-yard line of the Panthers. Pfeiffer starting to look a little bit more comfortable back there. Draw play, Pierre breaks the tackle. Can't break that one. Simmons,
he's still not down.
Made the first hit, and Jeff Waugh cleaned it up. It's going to bring up a second down. No gain on the play.
Another nice play by the Antioch defense. As Ferris Anthony said, they are playing with a lot of heart out here. But it's just, they just don't have enough weapons offensively to really threaten Pittsburgh, especially if the Pirates get another score.
But I'll give Antioch credit. Simmons, snap, especially Arias and Harper, have played a very good game defensively for Antioch here. Blanche breaks outside, has a block.
Soon.
Yep, still on his feet and knocked out of bounds by number 18, Lewis. First down, Pittsburgh, and that's when Blanche can get outside like that, it's trouble.
So let's get back to that question of who is the #1 seed in the, well, first we'll take a look at this replay, is who's the #1 seed in 4A. The real question is, you know, what are you going to do with De La Salle? Are you going to have De La Salle and Pittsburgh play again in the semifinals and the playoffs? Are you going to have, or are you going to have De La Salle be the #1 seed, even with 3 losses and a tie? Or is Amador, unbeaten but untested, going to be the #1 seed?
Who do you think ultimately would be the #1 seed?
I think they're going to go with Amador, because if I'm the Amador coach, I get up and say, we have not lost. No one has beaten us. We haven't tied anybody like Clayton Valley. We have not lost. Who else?
Interception!
Big play.
Intercepted by Gentry, and Gentry has a nice return.
That's a huge play. A little emotional burst for Antioch, and if they can just get some offense going, they can make some things happen.
That play, and with the 13s lining up, looked like Rattay and the Jets.
Right. Here you can see it. Pfeiffer's back foot slips, but he still misread that pass. He was trying to throw an out. It looks like the out was aimed at, well, I was going to say 85, but there is no 85.
Might have been Brown.
Might have been Brown. And, oh, it was 88. Marche Manning. He's trying to hit Manning on that out pattern, and Gentry was just sitting right there. It didn't look like Pfeiffer ever really saw him.
Clay, we'll still revisit this #1 seed thing. That's a good argument. I think Amador is going to get it too, but Antioch now, after the turnover, first down, Arroyos fires, and Felice made a nice play that time. So here's a good opportunity. You're right about Amador, so then if you say De La Salle is going to be seated higher than Pittsburgh just because of the one win
head to head,
okay?
It makes it really easy.
Well, I have my bracket here, and my bracket is Amador, De La Salle, Pittsburgh, Berkeley,
right.
Okay? And then it's either going to be Logan, Foothill, Monte Vista, and one of those teams, and one of those teams, and one of those teams, and Deer Valley.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Foothill, because of their really tough schedule, will probably wind up being the 4th seed. Doesn't really matter. What we're really talking about is home games here. If De La Salle is the 2nd seed, and I think they will be, Pittsburgh's going to have to go over to Owen Owens Field to beat them to get to the 4A finals.
Second down. Robinson straight up the gut. Itzen made a nice tackle after a gain of 6. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 4. So next week, Clay, we could see Amador play Deer Valley. We could see Pittsburgh play perhaps Monte Vista, Foothill, Logan, Berkeley. We could see De La Salle against one of those teams. It's going to be very interesting. Tomorrow, the meetings, if you're watching tonight, or on Sunday, we should know, Dave Jackson will be phoning in reports as I watch the Niners battle the Carolina Panthers. And maybe have as many points as the Antioch Panthers.
Yeah, it's a tough year to be. Tough year to be a Niners fan, tough year to be a Raiders fan. 4 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
3rd and 3. Robinson, counter. Breaks outside. He's going to be close to a first down. We're going to have to wait and see the spot. I think he's going to be a couple short.
He's a couple yards short. It'll bring up 4th down. At some point, if you're Ferris Anthony, you got to say, hey, we got to go for it. On the other hand, you really don't want to give Pittsburgh the ball here at the 36-yard line either.
I think they got to kick this.
Doesn't look like they're going to kick this. I think Arroyos is still on the field.
4th and a long one, maybe a short 2, depending on whether you're an optimist or pessimist.
Here comes the punter. They didn't call the timeout, but they're going to get a delay of game penalty.
Yeah, they got to get it. The ref's been very lenient on this today because of the field conditions, because of the way people have to kind of move real gingerly out there in the mud.
That had nothing to do with the field, because it's going to be really tough to punt without a punter.
Yeah, Jeff Waugh is moving back toward the sideline, and now a timeout Antioch with 3:03 to go, 3rd quarter. While we have an opportunity, Clay, let's say hello to the great friends of the program here on the Comcast Game of the Week. Next week, a playoff game for you. Tony Schultz will be back. He's over in Marin doing a game today. Rocco's Restaurant and Pizzeria in Walnut Creek. Contra Costa Clean Water Program and Mr. Funnelhead. Brendan Theaters in Concord and Pittsburgh. Italia's Italian Food in Antioch. RSC Rental Service Corporation in Martinez. Plumbers, Heating and Air Conditioning and Sheet Metal in Antioch. Of course, Clay will probably make an appearance during the basketball season when the Bentley Phoenix has a bye.
That's right.
We'll try to stop in. I know one game I'd like to have you do is the one big kind of feature matchup we're going to have this year is Deer Valley and Carondelet, girls basketball, featuring 3 Division I players.
Well, a great matchup between 6'2" Nicolia Simmons of Deer Valley and 6'4" Jane Appel of Carondelet. That's a tremendous matchup. Appel's a big-time player. She's a junior. Nicolia is a senior. I believe she's signed with Portland State.
She did.
And she's a very, very good player, and so is Appel. Carondelet, top number 50 in the nation. So Deer Valley have its work cut out for it.
The Riverboat Gambler, Ferris Anthony's going for it here. Hand off to Robinson, and he ran straight into a wall, and it wasn't Dan Wall. And that went nowhere. You could see Felice and Itzen.
Well, Dan, you called it at the start of the game. You said the Pittsburgh linebackers were an outstanding group, and they have made a lot of big plays all day long for the Pirates, who now take over. There's still 2:56 to go here in a third quarter that is glacial in pace.
Glacially, I like that.
Yes.
I was going to point out that play epitomizes this game. Antioch went for it. They took the chance. Robinson went into the line of scrimmage with great vigor and was stopped for no gain. And that's pretty much the offense for Antioch. They're trying. Their heart's in it. Their defense is battled. They just don't have the horses on offense to match up to Pittsburgh's defense.
And sooner or later, Pittsburgh's going to bust a big play here, and this game is going to be basically over.
Hand off to Pierre, and Pierre only gets a couple. Antioch's made a lot of great tackles. Harper was there, as well as number 40, David Simmons. Let's send it down to Joey with another special guest.
Thanks, Dan. We're here with number 40's parents, middle linebacker for the Panthers, Dave Simmons. We're going to start off with his mom, Lynn. You've been involved with Antioch Youth Football League with Dave through high school. Tell the mothers out there what they need to do to get ready for this stuff.
Just tell them you love them and feed them.
And now, Dave, you're the hardest working guy, Coach Ferris said so, that works on the football field. What do you do for the Panthers?
Oh, Joey, I'm their equipment manager. I clean their cleats. I make sure their helmets are tight, and I just take care of these kids. I love these kids. I've done it for 8 years now, 9 years, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I just love them.
On behalf of Coach Ferris Anthony, he wants to thank both of you guys.
Thank you, Joey. And we want
Yeah.
Coach, for the last 8 years, he's done a lot for our kids and our community, and we just want to say we love you and thank you for everything you've done for us.
What would you like to say to the Panthers, Lynn?
Better luck next year. But they've tried hard. They all got a lot of spirit. They pulled together as a family, and they're a great group of guys. Good guys.
Thanks, Dan. Back upstairs to you and Clay.
They should interview more moms.
I think so. Moms are always positive. You know, There's never anything negative going on.
3rd and 9. Draw play. Blanche breaks a tackle, has a first down across the 25, tackled at the 24-yard line. And he says something to Harper, which didn't look like, hey, we'll meet you for a hamburger over an In-N-Out burger after the game.
No, it's the thing about playing defense, and you just keep getting ground down, and you're battling these big guys. Pittsburgh's got a big line, and the mud makes it a little bit harder. The Antioch defense has been on the field an enormous amount of time, an inordinate amount of time, and eventually, even there's a minute to go. I think they've been out there for a half an hour here in just the third quarter.
You always, as the game progresses, your words get bigger. Inordinate, another good one from Clay Callum here in the third quarter.
Absolutely, going for the 4-syllable words.
First down, handoff, Blanche straight up the middle.
You know, it's really interesting.
Oh, and then there was just like that looked like The Rock and Ric Flair going at it in a cage somewhere in North Carolina. I just saw like Blanche's head and then an elbow, but no wonder Derek is upset. You know, we haven't said hello to the coaching staff at Pittsburgh. Vic Galley played on the first championship team at De La Salle. Jimmy Shipe, who, if you ever see him and Jeff Bridges in the same picture, it would be the first time. Alan Jobe, Bill Gay, of course, played for Pittsburgh. John Abono's been there for 35 years. They like to tell me Mike Orlando, Ryan Brinkley, Salim Muhammad, who played at De La Salle, went to Cal. He's the strength and conditioning coach. And Aaron Alatorre is the JV coach. Is another running play up the middle. But, you know,
fumble.
Oh, and there's a fumble on the play as the clock is now at zeros. And I think Pittsburgh got it back. But, Clay, that's going to wrap up the third quarter. We're going to send it out of here for a quick break, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter after this, the 86 Big Little Game.
Great Mexican food
home of the famous margarita, and fun and food in a festive environment. That's Celia's of Antioch. For over 30 years, Celia's has served specialties like fajita supreme, camarones a la ranchera, and other great Mexican food that has brought people from around the area to eat. Every Thursday night is live music from Trio and Saturday night mariachis. That's Celia's of Antioch for great Mexican food.
Hi, I'm Rocco Bialy, and this is my family.
I'm Dante. I'm Dominic. And I'm Nina.
For the past 5 years, Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria has been the proud sponsor of the Comcast High School Game of the Week. As a neighborhood restaurant, being part of our community has been very important to my family and staff. I'd like to personally invite you to become part of our family. Great pizza, great pasta, and great people. Rocco's Ristorante and Pizzeria, a part of your community.
Take advantage today with rates at record lows. Charter Funding Incorporated of Antioch is your local mortgage broker whose commitment is service with integrity. Charter Funding Incorporated works with many lenders to find the best program to fit your needs. First-time home buyers, 100% financing, no down payment, and interest only. No one is left out. Whether it's a rate reduction, cash out, new purchase, good or bad credit, let the professionals at Charter Funding Incorporated handle all your loan details. Call us today at 776-1700.
The cheerleading squad from Antioch High School still in the game here as the Panthers battling Pittsburgh, trailing 16-0, third down play, and I don't think they're going to get there, and it's going to force Pittsburgh into a fourth and about one, Clay, here, and
I think they got the first down, actually, Dan.
How could they have?
Well, they got
what?
past
The scoreboard was wrong then, because it had third and 4, so
yeah,
I'm blaming the scoreboard.
Good idea, Dan.
Because they didn't gain 4 yards on that play.
But they did gain enough to reach the first down. You're right, the cheerleading squad, a massive cheerleading squad here for Antioch, doing a nice job with the marching band. There's the Antioch bench. It's been a long day for some of these guys.
The ball at the 14-yard line, first down, fourth quarter. Antioch has gained 11 yards of total offense in this game.
Well, I'm happy to see that. It's more than a little embarrassing to be a negative yardage, and they deserve better. They have done some good things, some really good things out here today against a very top-notch squad. I'll tell you, Derek Blanche, he knows that Antioch is for real.
Oh well, Anthony, I would be surprised if you asked Blanche at the end of this game. You've played 10 games now. Who hit you the hardest? It's got to be Antioch. Antioch is burying him. Weaver made the tackle on that play. It's just, like we said, it's just the offense has not been able to do anything.
He's been averaging 12 yards a carry during the season, and he's not close to that today.
And Pierre, this time, I think he was actually hit by Matt Lemley, his own tackle. You know, though, Clay, interestingly enough, if you're Vic Galley after last week, don't you want to play a game like this? Don't you want to at least feel like you were in a game? What would a 55-0 done this week?
Absolutely. This is a good game. The starters are in here. They're playing hard. They're going to have to play 48 minutes for the rest of the way. The first round game, I mean, we're all talking, if De La Salle seeded second, Pittsburgh seeded third, it's going to be Pittsburgh at De La Salle. And there's a game to play before that. De La Salle's already proved that they can't beat Clayton Valley, so they're better teams than that in that bracket.
Third down, Piper.
Post and corner.
Yep, Crowley. Oh, and it's just out of the reach, but two penalty
He's going to get
flags.
pass interference, and I don't know about that one. They're calling that on Lee, Clarence Lee. I'd like to see that play again because I don't think that was pass interference in the sense that it really impeded his ability to get to the end zone.
Back in the first quarter, Clay Pierre, a 16-yard run on Pittsburgh's first possession. There was a safety, and then Fafiti caught the pass from Piper late in the second quarter.
Here's the replay.
That's
Look at
scoring.
the top of your screen. It's a post and corner. He steps inside. He reached out. Yeah, he did. He just reached out and grabbed it. And what's ironic is he didn't need to. That pass was not going to be complete. He just lets him go. Instead, we got a first and goal. Looks like right around the 4-yard line.
Well, they should have actually, you would think, marked it at half the distance to the goal. And who could tell what yard line it's on in that mess down there? Piper pitched to Pierre. Blanche out in front.
Oh, nice play.
Aaron Hall, and the ball's on the ground but out of bounds.
Now there is a perfect example of Pierre not playing this year. You can see him come out, and he's just waiting and waiting and waiting, and he doesn't really recognize that he's got to make an explosion right now. He's got to make that cut right there, but he still waits. Finally, Hall slips off the block. You know, you can look at you look at Kyle Pfeiffer in there, and you say, oh, how can he not block that guy? He blocked him long enough. You can't block a guy forever.
He held him for about 20 yards lateral. Second down. Antioch sure making Pittsburgh work for this touchdown.
There it is.
Pierre
dives into the end zone.
Touchdown, yes. Pittsburgh, a 4-yard run for Antoine Pierre, his second touchdown of the ball game. And Clay, I have to say that'll probably just about wrap this one up.
Yeah, it's very hard to imagine that Pittsburgh is going to be able to score 3 touchdowns in the last 9 minutes.
Pittsburgh has scored 3 touchdowns.
I'm sorry, that Antioch, yes, it's that other team. Antioch's going to score 3 touchdowns. Given the fact that they just barely pushed into positive yardage just a couple seconds ago. And the other thing is Pittsburgh has such great team speed that it's very difficult to get a long play. It's not like you're going to be able to run a kickoff back or something like that.
Hurtado on to attempt the extra point. The kick is good. He's perfect today in the mud. 23-0 Pittsburgh here with 9:18 to go in the ball game. But I'll tell you what, I think the star of today's game, outside of Blanche, is the Antioch defense.
Absolutely, and you can point to a lot of guys. Simmons has made some big plays, and Arias has made some big plays. Snap has made some big plays. They've done some things that have made this far from a walk in the park for the Pirates, who over the course of the season have gained a lot of yards on a regular basis. And today, they're just not getting the yardage that they're used to getting. They're averaging 407 yards a game. They're not going to get 407 today.
Here's a replay of the touchdown.
It's pretty simple. The first man through, it's very difficult to account for all of the weapons that Pittsburgh has. You've got to respect Blanche to the outside. And if the linebackers and the safeties cheat at all, they're leaning it all to the outside, then a running back like Pierre is going to be able to go right up the middle.
Great friends of the program here on the Comcast Game of the Week include Charter Funding Incorporated, Mellows Heating and Air Conditioning in Oakland, S&S Import Service, Golf and Games, Celia's Mexican Restaurant, Roger Fernando State Farm Insurance. I was going to mention that was one of the rare times that Pittsburgh ran up the middle today that Antioch didn't make a clean tackle right at the point of contact. Hurtado to kick. This is Robinson at somewhere near the 10-yard line. It's just impossible. Boy, do I yearn for that nice lined field turf next week wherever we're at. Short return for Robinson. Antioch will take over, down 23-0. But you know, Clay, and you can talk about what you hear out on the street. You know, there's a lot of people who thought this game was going to be a runaway 70-0 or 55-7. So you got to give Antioch credit for hanging around. They've made it tough on Pittsburgh today. You know, the field conditions hurt Pittsburgh's running game a little, but Antioch's defense has played very well. You know,
I think they had a great scheme coming in. They clearly were slanting inside. They were going to take away the inside. They got it lucky. They ran into some gaps where Pittsburgh wasn't expecting it. They managed to slow them down. Pittsburgh lost a little bit of confidence. And, of course, Big Galley switched quarterbacks, too. Craig Pfeiffer is not the guy that you really expected to be in there as much.
Arroyos on first down. Far sideline, looking for Ulloa, and him and Arroyos and Ulloa have just not clicked today. They've just not been together. Ulloa that time was actually running free, it looked like, but the pass was over his head.
Well, it's very difficult. I think Arroyos is always in the situation where he's wondering if he's going to get hit right away, if something's going to happen, because early in the game especially, he didn't have any time. Yeah, and as you say, they're just not clicking. Obviously, if you haven't scored here in the fourth quarter, if you've only gained 30 yards or so as a team, your offense is not doing what it's supposed to do, what it's designed to do, really.
Second down. That's Ulloa shifting sides here.
A little confusion.
Hand off to Robinson. Robinson gets about 4. Number 67 for Pittsburgh. The first time we've called this name, and this is why. Norris Savath. I hope I said that right.
Savaseth.
Savaseth. That's a new one for me. Or Savaseth, yes. Izzy, our buddy number 97, Izatolo Tuatoa, or Tuatua.
You do that very well.
Izzy T is what we like to call him, Izzy Tattoo. He hasn't been in today, and we haven't butchered his name.
Well, yes, you have.
Just until then. But I had to just to make him feel good. Third down. Robinson,
you know, he's really shown me a lot as a running back. He's in a situation where he is the guy. And we got a penalty flag. A late penalty coming from the side. Don't know. I did not see. We have pretty much the same
I
angle.
think it's a dunking penalty on Pittsburgh.
Dunking donut kind of penalty.
Yes, I think someone had an illegal splash. See, if you watch the side, Judge, he came in and went like this, like there was a splash on the play. He splashed some water into his eyes.
Illegal horseplay. Yep.
See?
And Pittsburgh picks up another unsportsmanlike conduct.
Illegal splashing on Pittsburgh. I'm telling you, I got the call right, Clay.
And this is, again, this cannot make Vic Galley happy. If I would not be surprised if there was a little extra running going on Tuesday.
There might be extra running going on when they get back to the gym today.
Just like, you know, do you guys remember that 15-yard penalty? Line it up.
Fourth first down penalty. Now let's see if Dave can find 4 other first downs.
So
they have 7 total, so they have more by penalty.
Every one of those first downs by penalty may result in a sprint to remember for the Pirates. Robinson is just, I mean, he's just getting pounded. He is their only offensive option. He's been their only offensive option all year. You know, he's just, when you're a running back in that kind of situation, you are a marked man. Linebackers, they're just teeing off. They know, they've been watching the films. They know, hey, they're going to give the ball to 4. The defensive coach is saying, is 4 better than you? Are you going to prove? Or what do you make 4 hurt? And that 15 carries, 36 yards. Let me tell you, those are hard 36 yards.
I had a thought though about the running.
You had a thought?
Just one.
Oh, okay.
About the running.
Yes.
You know, can you hear the one guy saying, "But coach, I didn't splash him."
Yeah, I like that.
Why do I have to run a lap?
Really, man? It wasn't me.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. 7:20 to go in the ball game.
Robinson's in the slot this time. And he's confused. He's trying to figure out what it is he's supposed to do.
Arroyos
he's open.
Just launches another one. And actually on that play, Aaron Hall defended number 17, Joseph Blackman, and knocked the pass away. It's incomplete.
So you can see now Arroyos is a little closer to on target here, but this is basically the only pattern that they've run. They've probably run this fly route, streak, whatever you want to call it, to the wide receiver 4 or 5 times.
That looks like you throwing the ball in from right field in a softball matchup.
Yeah, except actually mine only goes about half that distance. Goes just as high, doesn't go quite as far. Third and 11 for Antioch.
Yep. The ball's the 37-yard line of the Panthers here, 4th quarter. Arroyos to throw again. He's had time. He just hasn't been able, you know, then I guess we have to give credit to the Pittsburgh secondary because he's had some time to throw. It just seems like no one's ever open. The only time Floyd Jones still, to this day, he'll be telling everyone on Monday, did you see me? I was open on that one.
Right. He's 1 for 10 on the day.
1 for 12.
1 for 12. One of the things that has happened to him is that he got some pressure early on, and you could see he's not really planning and striding with his front foot. The passes are high. Usually what that means is you're not taking a long enough stride with your front foot, in this case his left foot, and that's because you got a little bit of happy feet because you want to get rid of the ball really quick. The other thing that's happening is Pittsburgh has a tall defensive line, and he's got to throw over them, and he's not the biggest kid out there. They list him at 6 feet. But then again, if he's 6 feet, I might be 6 feet too.
Timeout, Pittsburgh, and we'll take a look at some of the great friends of the program here, Antioch Armory, for all your home protection needs in Antioch downtown. Pantel's Music Box. Hello to the Pantels. I've known them for many years. Have a stereo in my car from the Pantels as well, Clay. They do a great job down there, downtown Antioch. Wendy Marie's Aesthetics. Fitness 19 for $19, where you can afford to be fit in Walnut Creek. Gordon Gravel, of course, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, won 3 Super Bowl rings back in the 70s. Go Cycles for all your cycle accessory needs. Oscar Tags Tuxedo, your prom headquarters in Pittsburgh. And there's the Pittsburgh band, of course, who they're the last people to leave the party always. They keep it going. And of course, the Pittsburgh side, very few people have left. It was full today. The Antioch side is not as chipper as the Pittsburgh side.
Always fun to win.
Yes, winning is better than losing.
Better than losing, especially if you want fans to come to your games.
Antioch's going for it on 4th and 11. Arroyos to throw. Throws, has Ulloa, but Ulloa is tackled short of the first down, and then a late penalty.
That'll be a personal foul, and that'll 15 yards will be marched off. It's still going to be Pittsburgh's ball. Still going to be Pittsburgh's ball, but it's going to be down around the 20-yard line. Now, you know, this is a pattern. This is a nice throw. Arroyos has shown a strong arm, but what this does is you want this pattern to be good for the first down, and when he catches the ball, he's still 2 yards short of the first down, and unless he breaks that tackle, he'll never get it. Ideally, you drive the defensive back. You drive the defense back 6 or 7 yards, and then he comes back and he or 6 or 7 yards past the first down marker, and then you come back, you catch the ball, you still got the first down. So that 15 yards is going to be tacked on. Pittsburgh is still going to take over with the first down on the personal foul, but they're going to take over. Instead of taking over on the 43-yard line, they'll take over probably, well, 45. They'll take over right about on the 30. And there's Tony Gisletta again, strolling off the penalty.
Strolling. He was strolling through the mud one day.
Strolling through the muck. And so it'll be first down and 10 yards to go for the Pirates.
First down for Pittsburgh at the 30. Piper, fake, throw.
And he is not open. He is blanketed.
Oh,
and what a catch!
Oh, unbelievable.
What a catch. You cannot play any better defense than Jesslyn Robinson did on that. He had that pattern, which was an out and up, down and out, square, out and up, whatever you want to call it. He had that covered. He knew it was coming. He was right there. And I'll tell you, Davis just went up and took the ball away from him.
30 yards on the touchdown, and now the score is starting to look a little bit more like what we thought. I still think the line spread, if you probably would have bet this one in Las Vegas, would even be more than 30.
I think so. This is one of those 45 ones or no line or...
But when you get down to this point, it's like, you know, you got to figure the emotions starting to wear off for Antioch after just battling all day and then still having Pittsburgh lead here 30-0.
Well, it might be 30-0. You never know. He could miss.
I have confidence in Hurtado. He's one of the better kickers Pittsburgh's put out there, and the kick is good. Let's take another look at this great touchdown by Derek Davis. Oh, we don't have the replay. I think the enthusiasm has left the truck as well.
Right. yes, indeed. It's
the computer
so we've got
is down.
6:36 left to go in the game. It's 30-0, and now's when it gets really tough. You're out there. Here's the Antioch players, especially the seniors. This is their last game, the last 6 minutes. The stands are rapidly emptying here, but I'm confident actually after having seen this game and understanding Antioch's football tradition that these guys will play hard down to the final gun, and that in a lot of ways is more important than having a great winning record. It's also a lot harder to do. It's really easy to play hard when you're winning. It's really simple to go out and say, oh yeah, I'm going to do everything I need to do when you're winning, when you're going to the playoffs and all of this stuff. It's a real test of your commitment and your courage to continue to battle like Jesslyn Robinson is when things aren't going well, when it's real easy just to say, hey, yeah, we're going to lose anyway, so what difference does it make? Well, he's playing hard, and so is the rest of the Panthers, and that's a credit to them and to Ferris Anthony in his final game as a coach.
So Hurtado, whose leg is starting to get to the ice down stage. will kick off here from the 40, and Robinson and Ulo are back as the time is winding down on the Ferris Anthony era here at Antioch High School. There's only been a few coaches here in the last 30 years, folks. Marv Comstock, Tim Galley, Mike Paul, and Ferris Anthony.
You forgot Frank Orlando.
And Frank Orlando. Short return for Robinson.
Steve Sanchez.
I think he had a short tenure, I believe, if I'm not
Orlando was the shortest one, and he came in. They were doing real well with the run and shoot, and he went away from the run and shoot because he said he wanted to put in his system, and then he stayed for 1 year. If they would have stayed for the run and shoot that year, they might have had one of the great offensive machines ever in Northern California football.
Clay, after and during this drive, we'll talk a little bit about the 3A playoffs. We haven't kind of went through that bracket yet, but there are some teams from this side. Freedom could be in there.
Oh, well, I think we still need to talk about the possibility, can De La Salle be the #1 seed?
Oh, I think they could.
Will the committee go in and take into account the losses and take into account the fact that Amador really hasn't played anyone, and De La Salle has played an elite schedule?
That game against the Seahawks early really hurt him.
Yeah.
Royals has plenty of time.
He's got a man here.
Low is down there.
Man, what an interception.
Wow.
That's another great catch by
your buddy, Rodney Lacroix.
Lacroix. That's a great play. That's called making up ground. Our computers are back, and so are our replays. Arroyos looks, sets. He's got one-on-one coverage, puts the ball out here. That's a nice throw, a lot of distance on it, but look, wow, that's a super play. That's another great catch. There's really not a lot you can do as a receiver on a play like that. You don't expect defensive backs generally to be able to make that kind of a catch.
That was a great play by Lacroix, and another turnover as Pittsburgh has the ball back with 5:33 to go in the fourth quarter. So, Clay, but your gut still says Amador.
I think they'll go with Amador, but I could see a case being made for De La Salle. It really depends on the committee, who's on the committee, and whether they feel that how much credit they're going to give to strength of schedule as opposed to overall record.
5-yard gain by Pierre on first down. The other thing, of course, is do they want Pitt and De La Salle meeting in any game other than the final? And will that ever be taken into consideration?
I don't think they're really going to take that in consideration. I mean, the only reason you would do it would be financial, but since they're not playing at the Coliseum in the final game, that game's going to sell out no matter where it is, and they're not going to be playing in a bigger venue necessarily in the finals than they are in the semis.
Blanche.
Penalty.
And a penalty on the breaks a tackle. Blanche still on his feet, and Blanche is gone, but I think it's coming back, Clay, unless it's on Antioch. Touchdown. A run of 55 yards for Derek Blanche, but what's the call? And I think they're waving it off over here.
The chain guys have moved. The chain guys have moved.
It's motion on Pittsburgh.
And the chain guys have moved.
And they're going back.
Yeah, and they're going to say, well, it was somewhere around here. It was just around here. That's an officiating mistake, or actually the chain crew mistake. You really shouldn't. Those guys shouldn't move until they know that the ball there's no penalty. Can't really see it.
You can see the great speed and the moves to get open by Blanche, Clay, but I want to see this replay over to see if we can tell the motion, if it was two guys in motion or...
Well, it must have been someone in the backfield, because otherwise it's not the center. The center can't be in motion because he snapped the ball. So we really couldn't get an angle.
I didn't see anyone in motion there. I don't see it.
Maybe he's calling it a number 6 for moving his arm.
Wow. If that's the penalty, that's a tough one to take right there.
That's
Ninth penalty, 100 yards. The second Blanche long run that's been called back. So, Pittsburgh could be ahead in this game 44-0 if it hadn't been for the penalties. Really, the penalties have really dogged the Pirates today. You got to give a lot of credit. And we're going to have to award someone on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, Blanche is one of the players of the game, but we've got to give someone from their defense the award. Maybe we'll give it to the linebackers because they've been so good for so long.
We're still confused here. This game is threatening to go on longer than the Longest Day or the Pearl Harbor movie. 4:28 to go, and we're discussing something, and we're not sure what it is.
So the ball is at the 40-yard line after the penalty.
And now the whistle is blowing again.
And I think
Pittsburgh's calling a timeout.
Vic calls timeout. All right, Clay, to finalize
yes.
the 4A bracket.
Yes.
Amador, you think, but De La Salle could.
And De La Salle could, and then again, what that does is that sets up, hopefully it would set up a Pittsburgh De La Salle final, which presumably would be the two best teams. But who's going to argue that Amador at 10-0 isn't the best team? There's no other unbeaten team.
And they're the #1 team in the sports focus. So we're going to take a quick 30-second break. We'll be right back.
Tonight's game of the week is made possible by the new and exciting Puerto Rican El Coqui restaurant, featuring the finest of this island's cuisine. Come in and experience the unique flavors that earned them a 4-star rating by the Contra Costa Times, such as Puerto Rican steak, pork chops, chicken, and pastales, their famous mofongo, seafood, and the house specialty, paella. Available for banquets, catering, and holiday parties, that's El Coqui at 509 West 2nd Street near the Campanile Theater in downtown Antioch. Thanks again from the Comcast Game of the Week.
This play may never be run.
No, now the referees are going to hold it up again. They're still talking about it. A lot of conversation going on, not a lot of playing.
Second down.
New running back in there.
Number 31, E.J. Mallet.
He hits like a hammer.
God damn.
You got to be quick, Dan. You got to be quick.
I say Mallet hammers ahead.
No. You don't got Tony in the booth anymore. You're playing with the big boys now.
All right, so we're done with the 4A. The 3A, we mentioned San Ramon should be one. Arroyo. Here's some of the other teams. Clayton, Alhambra, Alameda, Dublin, Los Lomas, and Freedom should be in that mix.
Absolutely.
And then Campolindo, who won again, 56-18. Coach Macy has that team rolling 9
Kyle
straight
Macy
wins.
has done an amazing job at Campolindo, which has never been a good football program. When he first got there, he had like 20 kids on the varsity. We're going to have another timeout, folks. We just want to keep blowing the whistle. Oh, Lake Loveridge is right there. It's moved. So we're just continuing to try to slow this game down as much as possible. We're running out of tape in the truck, but
third down. Pfeiffer throws.
Complete for the first down, and
Jared Morning another. So we're seeing some of the backups for Pittsburgh now. First down Pittsburgh across midfield at the 49-yard line.
3 minutes to go. They didn't call that one out of bounds. They're keeping the clock running. These guys have been here for a long time. Several of them did the JV game, which, by the way, was won by Antioch by a score of 14-9. We understand Antioch, it's always hard to tell, but we do have a belief that Antioch may have had the best record of any of the JV teams in the league, which is a good sign for the future, whoever the next coach might be. Mallet hammers ahead.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Sort of like a hammerhead shark on that one.
Thanks for reminding me of the Sharks.
Well,
I'd be going to a Sharks game tonight if it hadn't been for...
If there were a Sharks.
Yes, if there were a Sharks game to go to. There's the... that's the mess here. Yeah,
that's the Anaheim Pond. Thanks.
All they're doing is reminding me. They're going to show now like someone wearing a crown for the Kings.
Right. The Anaheim Pond that came from Ferris Anthony's hose last night. Oops, a broken play.
Yes, and Pfeiffer right in the pond.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the Antioch guys are saying, hey, you may have won the game maybe, but you're the muddy one. Their eyes lit up. Their eyes lit up on this one. Oops, okay, he makes a little mistake, and they're thinking, oh, look at that. There's water. Oh, I see that. Ooh, drink that.
Natividad Porous on that play. Can you come up with something with Porous?
Porous? Well, actually, I have to say the Antioch defense was expected to be porous, but wasn't.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't. And Natividad, soon it'll be Christmas. What can I tell you?
That's very good. Actually, it was expected to be porous, but they showed more snap than anticipated.
Ooh, good.
Thank you very much.
Good. You were still a little slow on the mallet one, though, Dan.
Oh, it's a good thing. It always would be fun if it was 24-24. It's amazing, Clay. The only game we haven't called in the last 15 games was the overtime game, considered like the greatest Big Little game ever.
Right. But there was a fumble on that play.
And then a scrum, and I think we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, folks, on third and long.
Running the clock. Actually, though, the advantage of that, the one time didn't do the game, we were standing on the field when Percy McGee made an absolutely tremendous, stretched out, full extension catch in the end zone to win that game in overtime. One of the most amazing things, and we happened to be standing right down on the field because we weren't up in the booth that day. So I consider that one a pretty good trade-off.
That was a great game. So as we kind of wrap this one up, Pittsburgh will finish 9-1. And Vic Galley will probably have kind of a sleepless night tonight, trying to think of what can I say, because you know he wants the number 2 seed at least.
Oh, yeah.
You know he wants 2. I don't think he's going to get it, but you know he wants it.
Absolutely. He has to hope, actually, that De La Salle gets the top seed, because if they're the number 1 seed, then he can go in and argue, oh, well, we were the team. We only lost to the number 1 seed. There goes Mallett.
And Mallett nailed Sean Harper.
Oh, there you go. That's good, but he didn't.
Well, he kind of ran over it.
What's really annoying, at least from our point of view in our tape that's running, oh, he did go out of bounds, but Dan Larry, they're winding the clock anyway. We don't care. This game is over. I don't care.
The clock.
And that's going to end this one.
And we are at zeros, folks, and Pittsburgh wins the 86 Big Little game, 30-0. Our good friend Ferris Anthony says goodbye to the coaching staff here at Antioch High School, and we'll be back to talk to Coach Anthony. Our players of the game have stats and highlights in an extended post-game after this.
And to all of our friends from the Comcast Game of the Week.
Thanks, Dan. We're here with the winning coach for the Pirates, Coach Galley. Coach, tell us about today's win, 30-0.
I mean, it was ugly. I mean, you see the field, the conditions, it kind of altered what we wanted to do. It's pretty bad out in the middle of the field, but you know, it's nice to get a win. It's kind of ugly. Antioch played tough. They came to play some football today, and it was ugly, but we'll take it. We got a new season starting tomorrow, so.
Well, Coach, you know what? Before I let you go, you want to say something about Ferris Anthony, Coach Ferris Anthony?
You know, something, just a class act. 8 years of doing a great job here at Antioch, and just a classy guy. Just I hope he enjoys his semi-retirement. I know he's still going to teach, and he's going to coach, do something, but. Classy guy, fantastic guy.
Coach, congratulations to you. Good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
Now I got the player of the game here. Next is it Sacco? Soccer, Fafiti. Yeah. Defensive player. Dan was up there talking about you. Tell me about today's game.
I mean, we were struggling in the first half, but we sort of picked it up, because it was a sloppy game. But overall, man, the D held it down, shut them out, so that's what we needed.
You guys ready for the playoffs?
Oh yeah.
All right, well, congratulations, player of the game, Brandon Theater tickets. All right, number 3, Derek Blanche. Derek, we interviewed your dad earlier today. He says you haven't yet decided what school you go to, but let's talk about your year this year. What do you give credit to? What?
I had an awesome year. I didn't know it was going to be like this, but I came out, worked harder in the summer, and I said I was going to break the rushing record, and I did it. So that was my goal, and I did that. So I surprised myself.
Now, I remember last year we talked on the sidelines. You were sort of injured and stuff like that. You said you were going to make a breakout year. You did it. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And here's some tickets for Brandon Theater.
Thank you.
All right, I'll get Coach Ferris Anthony for you in a second.
Yeah, we got to say goodbye to Coach Ferris Anthony, and then after that we'll have the second half highlights and some stats. But, of course, Fafiti on the defense, a great job for Pittsburgh, and also Blanche over on the offensive side, the all-time now single-season rusher. Now, Joey has a couple of the Antioch Panthers. I see him with Jesslyn Robinson. Go to Joey.
Dan, we're here with number 4 for the Panthers. Jesslyn, I know this is your senior year. You played a heck of a game here. What would you like to say to your Panther family and friends?
I mean, thank you for supporting us this whole season. I mean, we came out, fought hard, and we played hard. Nobody left nothing on the field. We came out and fought strong, and I'm proud of this. Even though we lost 30-0, but it feel like we won because we pulled together and we played a good game defensively, and we played a heck of a game.
Well, congratulations to you. And I told Matt the ticket's going to be in the mail.
Thank you.
All right, now we're here with the coach, Coach Ferris Anthony for the Panthers. Coach, for many years now, we've been covering.
Son Mark Anthony.
And son Mark Anthony. We've been covering you since he was little.
Yes, yeah.
We're going to start off with the son. What would you like to say about your dad and playing for the Panthers?
Well, it's been 9 years, and the 9 most memorable years, and I think we're going to miss him a lot, yeah.
Coach?
What?
What's your future hold for you?
I'm still going to be at Antioch and be a PE teacher and work with the kids and try to make them better people and come out into the community better. My goal is to see every senior on this football field in June with the proper uniform, and that's a graduation cap and gown, and that's the uniform that I want to see all my players and everybody at Antioch wearing. And I'll just keep working with Antioch High students and try to make them better people and accountable in society and in the community.
Now, Coach, I know it's not official, but as of Monday, who's going to be named the head coach for varsity?
They're going to go through a process. They're going to go open up the positions, because once the head coach goes, all positions go. And so just everybody will reapply and just open up the position. Jeff Rich will have to go through that process, I'm sure, with Louis Rocha, and they'll get a successor and somebody that I'll be able to help and support. And the community needs the help and support. Antioch's not funded with any type of money football program, and most of what I have to do is fundraise, with the big wrestling show coming up March 5th.
The earthquake?
Come to the wrestling show March 5th. Just the support with the community. Whoever gets hired needs that. And, just have everybody behind them and just go from there.
And Coach, on behalf of Comcast, Matt Bolander, Dan Wall, Clay, the rest of the staff, we'd like to say thank you for being so gracious, win or lose all the time. We're going to miss the time she took off my jacket.
Yeah, that was good. My son was just reminiscing about, he goes, that jacket's gotten smaller, and Dad, you've gotten bigger, so don't even think about putting that on today.
Coach, good luck to you, and wish you best wishes in everything you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Hey, I know I can fit in that jacket, though, so we better be careful.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Good luck to you. All right. Back upstairs to you, Dan and Clay.
And thanks to Joey Acuna for coming out of retirement with Clay Callum. This is like old home week here on
Absolutely.
Comcast. Let's take a look at some of the statistics in today's 30-0 victory for Pittsburgh.
There they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there they
and
are.
There they go. And the most telling statistic there, of course, is the 17 total yards for Antioch on offense. I mean, Clay, it's amazing. Pittsburgh, of course, probably would have won this game by 50 points if it hadn't been for the 9 penalties for 100 yards. Individually, we interviewed Derek Blanche, who finished with 118 yards. Pierre had 56 and 2 touchdowns. Pittsburgh's passing game, that's got to be something they work on. 8 of 13, just barely 88 yards if you take out the sack yardage. They just don't click as much offensively passing as they do with their running game. So there's the stats for you, and we'll see some highlights as we wrap it up. But we wrap up another season, but we're not done. We've got 3, perhaps 4 playoff games to bring you. You'll have to watch the Contra Costa Times every weekend for the matchups, and you can probably imagine that during the championship week, we'll try to do 2 games. There's the graphic for you. Check the times next week as you see the crowd thinning here and the band getting ready to go on. As we shut down another one, we want to say goodbye to the great friends of the program here on Comcast who help us bring you high school football and high school sports every week during the academic year. The Comcast Game of the Week brought to you by these great friends of the program. Rocco's Ristorani and Pizzeria in Walnut Creek. Contra Costa Clean Water Program and Mr. Funnelhead. Brendan Theaters in Concord and Pittsburgh. Battalia's Italian Food in Antioch. RSC Rental Service Corporation in Martinez. Charter Funding Incorporated in Antioch. Mellows Heating and Air Conditioning in Oakley. S&S Import Service in Antioch. Thanks, Randy, for fixing my car this week. Golf and Games in Antioch. Celia's Mexican Restaurant in Antioch. Plumbers Heating and Air Conditioning and Sheet Metal in Antioch. Also, Roger Fernando State Farm Insurance. Roger's the coach at Acalanes. He'll be going to the 2A playoffs next week. I want to thank you, Clay, for coming back. It's always a pleasure to work with you.
Always good to be here.
Thanks to Dave Jackson. And on a personal note, goodbye to my good friend Ferris Anthony. As you see the interception by Antoine Pierre. For Clay Callum, Matt Bolander, and our great Comcast crew, this is Dan Wall saying goodnight from Antioch, where the final score was Pittsburgh 30, Antioch nothing. This has been a high school sports production brought to you by Comcast and Walnut Creek. Till next week.
Good night, everybody.